Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on TV. Welcome to Wild Card Weekend, man. The season flew by on us. We're going to be going over both of the games that are NFC East based for the playoffs in this Wild Card Weekend. We got the New York Giants headed to Minnesota to take on Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. We got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though the Dallas Cowboys got a way better record than the Bucs. They're going to be playing them in Tampa Bay. This is going to be an exciting weekend. Make sure to check us out on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be doing a recap and some over-unders for all the other games. But tonight, we got to focus on the NFC East. Y'all know what it is. Awthentik and The Beard, the best division in football. So let's get right to it, man. Without further ado, and I wish my co-host had his team in the playoffs. That would have definitely been fire. But he's going to have to be a New York Giants fan today, man. Let's bring the best co-host in the country on the screen one time. My brother, your brother, the strong side to the left side. What's popping, Mr. Beard? How you living, brother?
I'm actually not too bad. You know, there's still quite the commotion amongst the Washington Commanders fan base right now. So
has the offseason gotten off to the on the right foot?
I don't know if you would call it the right foot. It's gotten off to a foot for sure, but it is what it is, and we're just, we're going to play it day by day. There's some hard knocks talk. There's some quarterback talk. Obviously, the Derek Carr situation is lighting some fires amongst the Commanders community, but I'm excited for the playoffs. Like, I love football. So it's like, it's okay that I'm not one of those people like, oh, my team's not in it. Like, it's the end of the world and I'm never watching any other team play football. Nah, I love football, man. So, I will have some invested interest in these wild card games this weekend.
You mean in the New York Giants, right? That's what you meant to say, right?
I will have some New York Giants love going on. Obviously, I want nothing more than the best for my co-host and my Awthentik and the Beard family for sure. I did wear the dogs hat. Awthentik likes to talk about Saquon and Thibodeau,
dogs.
The big dogs.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
so I wore my Beware of the Dogs hat, and I got a little red and blue, the Wizards.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that thing
saying?
says Washington on it. I remember when we got those in. Don't even try to reach with that.
So it's that was just a great opportunity for me to fix my headphones right there. I look a lot more professional now.
That was swift, man. I didn't even notice what was going on there. That was real swift.
I did it because I don't know if you've ever seen that GIF where the guy's like walking up to the soccer field and he has like the folding chair and he just goes "Kushish," and it like
yeah.
So like that's kind of I just saw
I've got
that.
a chair like that too. It's like a mini chair that you can. And that thing's just
have you ever
right
tried
there.
to do that like with a regular size chair?
I'm not as cool as you, man. You just did that real.
Oh no, man, you're
motion.
Awthentik. You're the coolest, man. No, but we're super excited, man. Obviously, this is a big moment for. A lot of Giants fans, and I think it's important to let those people enjoy this moment. And it's that's the one thing about playoffs. Like you're so excited, and it can just all be gone so fast.
Yeah, and I'm you know how I do. I prepare myself. I'm like, I'm looking at it like we playing with house money. If they lose, it's all good. Prepare yourself for the loss right now. Don't get reeled in too crazy. It's probably going to be a close game. Don't try to get all the emotions, invested and whatnot, and just let this game play out. Hopefully the New York Giants can come away with a victory. I see a lot of these people on national TV and a lot of these shows picking New York Giants as the one upset that they want to pick in the whole wild card weekend, which is kind of getting me a little gassed. They're trying to reel me in a little bit, but I'm trying to remain even keel here. Whether we win or lose this season has been a success, but I do like what Daniel Jones said in the press conference. He was like, we didn't just, play this regular season the way that we did just to get to the playoffs. There's a lot more left here for us to try to accomplish. So I hope that's the case, man. I hope they're ready for this game. It's gonna be a big matchup.
Yeah, and then obviously on the Dallas Cowboys side, they're the Dallas Cowboys, so they're always going to be one way or another the center of attention. And obviously, right now they're not necessarily getting the positive attention as much as they're getting the negative attention, obviously because of the way they played down the stretch. But I mean, they still finished the season, what was it, 12-5,
Yep,
so
12-5.
it's like, I mean, they're still a really good team. And it's, eventually I think they're going to have to figure out the seeding situation. It's very difficult because like, I completely understand and agree that, if you win your division, you should get a home game. You should. But at the same time, it's like, man, they're going on the road at 12-5 against
Crazy.
a team
Which
that's
would normally
8-9.
win the division.
Yeah,
12-5
for sure.
normally win you the division. I mean, outside of Philadelphia Eagles, it's kind of interesting. But I think you should maybe have to be over 500. I think that should be the benchmark right there, because being 8-9 and you're hosting a home game, then it's a little unfair.
It's kind of crazy. And also, let's not forget, this playoffs is the first time with the new overtime rules for the playoffs. So I think that's something to keep our eyes on too, to see if that comes into effect at all.
What did they add into the overtime rules this year?
So now, if you score a touchdown on the opening possession of overtime, the game doesn't end. The other team gets an opportunity.
Oh, that's that Buffalo Kansas City thing, right?
Exactly.
That's why they added. That's some bull right there.
So it's weird to me.
Ain't a Tom Brady rule right there. That's like Tom Brady was the tuck rule or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Come on, man, that's some bull. They didn't do it for the regular season, and now y'all
just
gonna
for the playoffs.
implement that in the playoffs. That's
just
some
for the
bull
playoffs.
Right there. I don't.
So
that.
that's gonna be something very interesting to keep our eyes on, because when you're in the playoffs, I know a lot of people are expecting blowouts in some of these games, obviously, because there are some situations where we have some third string quarterbacks playing in Miami and obviously in Baltimore.
Has Baltimore named the starter? It's not going to be Lamar this week?
He hasn't practiced yet, and he actually just released some tweets right before we went on air talking about how, his leg, the swelling is still there. He doesn't have, so he's definitely not playing. And as far as I know, as of today, it looks like Anthony Brown's going to be the starting quarterback again, so we'll have to wait and see. But
That's wild, bro.
But, generally playoffs, obviously, teams are all kind of even. So, there's a lot of likelihood of one of these games reaching that overtime level. So it's just definitely something to keep our eyes on. I wanted to just throw that out there to kind of remind everybody. So, like, if we're watching a game in overtime and your team scores a touchdown and you start going crazy and then you realize, wait, they're still playing.
Wait a minute, the game's still going on. You looking like Donovan McNabb out that joint.
It'll be interesting too. Like, if you win the coin toss, do you decide to kick off as opposed to receive first? What would you do?
I think I would take the ball.
Take the ball?
Yeah, I think I'll take the ball. Try to get my points on the board.
So it's gonna be an interesting time, but definitely want to give shout out to everybody who's here rocking with Awthentik and a Beard. Obviously, it is wild card weekend. Although with these new. They call it the Super Wild Card Weekend.
It's been like that for a couple of years.
Yeah, for a couple of years now. So, but it's Wild Card Weekend, basically. So,
yeah.
Big shout out to everybody who is tuned in right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and, of course, right here on the YouTubes. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here rocking with us. We appreciate all the love and all the support. I mean, I'm looking at the comment tab here in StreamYard, and shout out to the chat. It says 67 comments. So I'm going to do my best to fly through this because, believe it or not, even though we got 2 games, based on, pre-production meeting, Awthentik has decided to buy 20-piece nuggets for everybody in the hood. So there's about 7,000 nuggets. We got about 14,000 cups of sweet and sour sauce. Would you call that a cup? What would you call that? The sweet and sour sauce comes in.
That's a good question. That is a good
question. We normally just call them sweet and sour sauce.
Maybe it's still in the packet range, maybe, even though it's in a little bit of a dipping cup. I'm gonna call it a packet.
Packet. All right.
Hey, let me get a couple of the barbecue sauce right there. Charging you for the things now.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. I'm not happy about that. Big shout out to old man Rob in the building. We appreciate you as always dropping by and saying hi. And to my guy, who is a Dallas Cowboys resident here at Awthentik and the Beard, Mr. Gregory is in the building. Appreciate you as always, sir.
What's poppin', fam? What's poppin'?
Prime Time 816 says salute to Awthentik and the Beard. In the words of the late great James Brown, need some payback. Get back. The big payback.
Big payback. Yeah, that's a good vibe.
Listen, that's one of my jams too. When they put James Brown on, for those of y'all that don't know, the beer got a little funky
it's a good,
in
good
him. You know what I'm saying?
Right now.
So listen, you put on that James Brown, the beard, y'all better go find a cape because I'm gonna start sweating. It's gonna be crazy. So shout out Primetime 816. We appreciate you stopping by.
Big shout
and
out,
our
big
guy
shout out.
in the mix.
My man Michael Knight, what's poppin', fam?
Big shout out to Stanimal, Stan the man. This is some back-to-back comments here by Stan. He's basically saying, he's more on the, I want to be reserved sort of situation where it comes to all the hype around the Giants and bulletin board material. And it's a give and take sort of situation because I can understand 100% where you're coming from. No questions asked. Because sometimes it's like it's better to be quiet sometimes. And like he says it right here, he's like, go in silent, sneak up on them. It's like people forgot we lost that game. And I think, unfortunately, the way that the season kind of ended for the Giants, I don't really think you could sneak in on anybody. I think that, a lot of people are going with the Giants because of, the respect that they've kind of earned over these last couple of weeks because there was that patch of the season that was a little rough for the Giants. And everybody was like, oh, they come back down to earth. And, they were...
The Vikings game was part of the rough patch.
Yeah, so...
It's just that we played well, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, the Nuggets are already coming. The Nuggets are peeking. They're peeking out the bag.
They've been sitting on a heat rack for like a good 5 hours. You thought they was fresh. They ain't that fresh.
Big shout out to Sean G. Playoff time indeed. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you as always. And shout out to my Commanders fans still showing up and showing love. Beige Boy in the building. HTTC, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you stopping by for sure.
That's not a G right there.
No, it's a C. It's a C.
Okay.
Speaking of acronyms, big shout out to Simon. I love how Simon's first comment every stream, RTDB.
I love that.
Big shout out to Simon. We appreciate you. Lax 044 says, happy Thursday, everyone. Only a few more days until we have Giants playoff
Nerves
football.
Is settling in.
Man, oh man. Big shout out to my Irish brother, Irish Rover, in the mix.
I was chopping it up with Irish Rover on Entertainer Stream. He's like, is the beer going to do the trivia question? I was like, we're going to kind of collab on it. I was like, but you can guarantee this is not going to be a Notre Dame trivia question, 1,000%. He laughed at that. Had a good little chuckle out of that. Shout out Irish Rover in the building one time.
Big shout out to Real People. We appreciate you stopping by, Real People, for sure. Barry is in the building. What's going on, Barry? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
All is well.
La Mamba James blowing up the comment section. We appreciate it, my guy.
La Mamba sent me like a demo where he was rhyming over the intro theme song, and the joint was kind of fire, man. Big shout out to La Mamba James, though. I was up probably 2 in the morning. He sent that to my email. And he had some vibes, man. Yeah, I was going to send it to you, but I knew at that hour you was probably already tucked in the sheets all ready to go for tomorrow. But I'm going to send it to you tonight so you can hear it, man. La Mamba James got some bars, bro.
Shout out La Mamba James.
And shout out Ransom. Ransom dropped the Giants record today, too, man. That was real dope for a New York Revival. I saw that, too. So shout out to Ransom one time as well.
And our future sideline reporter, exclusive Authentic in the Beard, Marjorie in the chat, dropping Marge bombs. We appreciate you as always, Marjorie. Thank you for joining us. Jay Jean is in the mix.
Hey,
so ready for the Giants game.
Feels like it's today. It's weird. It feels like it's today. I was trying to keep my cool all day long. Just like, man, it's settled in. We know that this could be the last preview show of the season. And that's when it settled in. I was doing my notes. I was just like, man, this could be the last time I type a preview for a Giants game this year. It's really settling in. So we'll see, man. I'm ready for Sunday. Good thing we got the little warm-up on Saturday. Get to see some other teams play some playoff football. Let the nerves out a little bit. I think I could deflate the nerves just by maybe a good 10-15%.
Yeah, imagine being a fan and your team plays the first playoff game of the weekend, and then you lose, and it's just like the rest of the weekend you have to just watch other teams play.
It's no bueno. Is it the Jags Chargers first, or is it?
I can't remember. I've been just the games are all jumbled in my mind right now. Speaking of trivia, big shout out to Kai 001 who won last week a dope Dallas Cowboys pennant. Says he just got his prize in the mail today. Shout out to Kai, one of our resident Cowboy fans.
So,
we appreciate you as always.
Seahawks 49ers is the first game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wolves in the mix. Big
What's up,
shout out
Wolves?
to
Been a minute,
Wolves.
man. Good to see you, fam.
Appreciate you stopping by. Fabian's in the mix. Danny
Sure.
Dimes is in the mix.
Season. Let's
Man.
go. Let's get it.
There's a lot of people. All right, our guy. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. Got to show my guy some
Gang
love
is
in the
building.
mix.
Day one.
Valentino is in the mix.
What's
Shout out
poppin'?
to everybody who's in the building. I don't want to miss anybody. There are so many people. Yam from Japan is in the building. Shout out
Shout
to
out,
Yam.
Yams.
Hey, listen. We're checking in from Japan. And then we're going to take a little flight over to
Italy.
We're going to Italy. Shout out to Tuto.
Guy Tudo. What's
For the
poppin', Craig?
$4.99 super chat says massive salute and respects to Awthentik and the Beard fam, Irish Rover, and all diehard Giants fans in the building from Munich, Germany. And slap all Boyd's losers. Salute, Italy.
Salute.
Or is it-
We're gonna slap them Vikings first.
That there's just be a lot of slapping going on on this weekend. I still haven't seen the first NFL playoff commercial though.
I mean, playoffs ain't start yet, so you'll get your.
But
vibes
also,
out
I
on
don't
it.
really. I guess I should
You
really
don't
see
watch
it.
TV. Right.
I don't even have
Definitely don't
cable.
watch no TV.
Big shout out to Joseph Clark in the building. I see Mr. Mini Guy in the building. Simon Cow, $5 super chat says, ended up winning my fantasy league by over 100 points.
Turned up on them fools.
GG's, hats off to a good year. AATB, LFG, NYG, RTDB,
Love it.
HTTC. Acronyms are dropping all over the
Love it,
map.
man.
Mike
Congrats,
K
brother.
is in the building. J-Mo is in the building. Coach Taylor, we appreciate you as always. Bookend Tackles is in the mix. And our guy Fabian with a $2 super chat. Trivia answer. Rodney Hampton. Let's go Giants.
It's a good try. That's one of my favorite players. But whatever I could do to make a trivia answer Rodney Hampton, I might do it.
So big shout out to everybody in the building. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Oh, big shout out to James Earl Moans. Salute Awthentik and the Beard. The Daniel Jones card is kind of blingy. Thanks again. We appreciate you, my guy.
Salute.
So, yeah, big shout out to each and every one of you guys who are rocking and rolling with us on this Thursday night across the board, whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and right here on the YouTubes. We appreciate all the love and all the support.
Big facts.
I
Don't
hope
forget
y'all
about
brought your
tonight's trivia.
appetite.
We're giving away this signed Y.A. Tittle custom jersey here tonight for today's trivia. It will definitely be New York Giants related, so make sure you got your thinking caps on. Keep your Google tabs open. Be ready for that. We're going to do that one after we do the Giants preview, but we got to start this one off with a bang here, man. Kind of let the fire simmer and build up a little bit. I know the Cowboys fans are definitely going to enjoy this one. We're going to start off with the Cowboys headed to Tampa Bay to take on those Buccaneers one time. Man, I got literally 4 pages of notes for this Giants game. And my Cowboys notes are good. I got a good paragraph for y'all one time. But the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys, man, headed to Tampa Bay to take on the 8-9 Buccaneers. This game's going to be Monday night at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. That's the slot that I really wanted. I would have loved. I know Daniel Jones prime time, Kirk Cousins prime time. That's probably where they were like, nah, this game ended up being 13-10 on primetime Monday night. Not a vibe one time. So this one, Dallas Cowboys and the Bucs get the Monday night slot, man. I'm super happy about that, man. But last week the Cowboys lost to that guy's Commanders one time. They fell to the Commanders 26-6. The Buccaneers also took an L too, right? 30-17 to the Falcons. The Cowboys are opening on the road in the playoffs for the first time since 2006. You remember that 2006 game? Tony Romo, everything on the line.
That's Seattle Seahawks.
Laces out. Tony Romo bobbled the snap. Seattle Seahawks end up winning that game 21-20. The Cowboys have not won a playoff road game since 1992. Cowboys have an 8-game road losing streak in the playoffs since then as well. The Cowboys won both of their previous meetings versus the Bucs, but both of those were back when me and the Beard were just, in our adolescence, little youngins at Glen Haven Elementary School back in the day one time. This was in the 80s, so I don't know how much meaning that has behind those, but Dallas did win 7 of the previous 8 meetings before Brady took over, and the Bucs have won the 2 last season openers. That's what was so confusing all year long when we were talking about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Bucs for the season opener. They did that back-to-back seasons, so that definitely made that confusing. The Bucs won the NFC South for the 2nd straight season, the first back-to-back division titles in Buccaneers franchise history. And Tom Brady right now is 7-0 all-time with 15 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions against the Cowboys. He's averaged 277.9 yards per game passing in those matchups. Nobody has been better in the postseason than your man Tom Brady. I know Giants fans might be thinking maybe a little Eli Manning, maybe not as many opportunities, right? But the 7-time Super Bowl champion holds records for most playoff games at 47, most playoff wins at 35. He's got the most playoff passing yards at 13,049. And this man has 86 touchdowns in the playoffs. That's better than a lot of people's career in the regular season, which is crazy. Since Brady's arrival in 2020, the Bucs have won 37 games, including the postseason. That's the 3rd most wins in the NFL during that tenure, right behind the Kansas City Chiefs, who have 44 wins, and the Buffalo Bills, who have 40 wins. This is going to be the 4th playoff appearance in 7 seasons for Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Prescott and Elliott have a 1-3 postseason record after last season's 23-17 wild card loss to the 49ers at home. A lot of injuries in this game leading up into this one. We know Leighton Vander Esch and D-tackle Jonathan Hankins, both of them are expected to play. Vander Esch missed the last 3 games. Jonathan Hankins missed the last 4 games. Last week, the Bucs were without left tackle Donovan Smith. He had a foot injury. You had Tristan Wirfs, who's been out with the ankle injury. They both missed the regular season finale. They were also without Vita Vea, Julio Jones, safety Mike Edwards, cornerback Carlton Davis, and linebacker Carl Nassib. All of those players, though, have a shot to play in this game, and they are trending a little bit up for this one. Now, I want to talk about this Cowboys offense just a little bit before I toss this one to you, because I got some Brady stuff. I got some Dak stuff. There's a lot of numbers to go over, a lot of nuggets in this one. And I want to date this back to the Dak Prescott stats, man, that are very alarming for Cowboys fans out there, I'm sure. He finished the regular season on a career worst 7-game interception streak. He threw a pick 6 in 3 of his last 4 games. Now, outside of Dak Prescott, we also got to talk about Tony Pollard and his rushing attack, too. Tony Pollard had just 19 rushing yards against the Commanders, but that wasn't enough to get him over 1,000 yards for the season. That's his first time going over 1,000. He was just 7 yards over 1,000 yards, but congrats to Tony Pollard on that. Dallas was held to fewer than 100 yards rushing in back-to-back games to finish the regular season. It's the first time that happened all season. So I don't know if they're going to be able to get it together. This will either be strike 3 or out, or 3rd time's a charm. I don't know which one we can use for that. It's going to be one of the 2.
One or the other.
Elliott, he had the 9 consecutive games with a touchdown. That came to an end against the Washington Commanders. I know the Beard was extremely ecstatic about that. If you missed it, go back, check the recap show. That was from Tuesday. And CeeDee Lamb, he finished the year. I'd say CeeDee Lamb has been the one constant thing that's been pretty consistent for the Dallas Cowboys through this tough stretch. But he finished the season with 9 touchdown catches. That's the most by a wide receiver since Dez Bryant did it. He had 16, actually, in 2014. So there was a conversation going around in our spaces today. Shout out to Rob. It's Rob's birthday today, too. So if you see Rob Zero on Twitter, make sure to wish him a happy birthday. But at first, he was saying, I don't know about CeeDee Lamb. We checked the numbers, and he was like, let me retract everything I said about CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb has definitely been a number 1 wide receiver throughout the year. I think he's the one wide receiver when we did our preseason statistics of who we thought were going to be leaders. It'd be nice to go back and check those out, but I know both me and you both had CeeDee Lamb being the leading wide receiver for the Cowboys, and he definitely was this year. He definitely balled out this year. But with all those, that's the first batch of 20 nuggets for y'all, just to open up this discussion one time. I got to let the Beard go out here and give some flowers first before I, let all the gas out the tank and let all the kiddies out the bag one time. Beard, what you got for this game? What you thinking about this Dallas Cowboys matchup? In my heart of hearts, we ain't even talk about this. I know you picking the Bucs. I'm going to keep it funky with you. I know you picking the Bucs. You're going to find a way to dismiss the Cowboys' successes throughout this season and talk more about their woes that have been happening late in the season. But what you got, man?
I mean, listen, neither one of these teams, I mean, obviously the Cowboys are, superior record-wise, but neither one of these teams are going into the playoffs looking scary. They look, average, and they look beatable. And then, it just not clicking. Obviously, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost, you know, they pulled their starters and whatnot, but you know, there's a lot to kind of look into this game. Before we do, I drop my edible flowers. Big shout out to Irish Rover for the $5 super chat. Says Awthentik in a beard. I gotta run. My answer to your trivia question is Ahmad Bradshaw. Love you guys.
Big shout out, man. Big shout out.
So what's interesting is every one of these games in this weekend are between teams that have already played each other. So we've seen these two teams play each other. Obviously, it was week 1. Now, you know, the Cowboys pretty much played the way they did in week 1 as much as they did in week 18 with, you know, Dak Prescott throwing interceptions, you know, obviously not winning, not really scoring any points. So, you know, obviously you would like to see them go into the playoffs, especially going against backups like the Commanders were playing with a little bit more steam. But also Tampa Bay was a lot different in week 1. You know, Leonard Fournette, and now let's just remember, you know, we talked about playoff numbers with Tom Brady. We all know when playoff Lenny turns into playoff Lenny, it's different, you know, batch of running than it is necessarily in the regular season. But in that first matchup, Leonard Fournette, you know, carried the ball 21 times for 127 yards. I didn't even check because I felt like confident I didn't need to check. But I'm pretty sure that's probably his best game of the season running.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So, you know, Tampa Bay, I got a little, you know, not necessarily roadmap because I kind of saved that for your New York Football Giants. But I do have some back and forth numbers here in the Beard's notepad of information, okay? So, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, you know, this guy he's an old guy. He's not running for first downs or anything like that,
game was
right?
Leonard Fournette's only 100-yard game of the year.
I figured. That's why I was like, I don't even have to check. And I get to a point here where we talk about Tampa Bay's running attack, and I realize I didn't even have to go back. But Tampa Bay is the least sacked team in the National Football League.
Every year, it's Tom Brady.
They've only allowed 22 sacks. Now,
a decisive
Dallas
quarterback is the best offensive line out there.
And Tampa Bay's offensive line has been banged up since
all year.
Week 1. So Dallas, on the other hand, though, is third in sacks in the National Football League. So, you know, they're going to have to find a way to get to Tom Brady. Dallas has 54 sacks on the season, which is number 3 in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Now, Tampa Bay, we talked about Leonard Fournette in that week 1 matchup, and, you know, Awthentik just mentioned that's the only 100-yard game of the season. But obviously in the playoffs, things kind of change a little bit. I mean, geez, Tom Brady broke the record for most completions and attempts in a season this year. So, I mean, they're slinging the rock, but don't let it fool you because when the playoffs come around, you got to be able to run the ball. Tampa Bay is the worst rushing team in the National Football League. They're only averaging 76.9 yards per game, and they've only scored 5 rushing touchdowns all year long. But Dallas's rush defense, not so good. 22nd in the league. They're giving up 129.3 yards per game on the ground. Now, obviously, Dallas can run the ball, though. They are 8th in rushing, 135.2 yards per game. They've scored 24 rushing touchdowns. Tampa Bay's defense is, you know, middle of the pack. So Dallas is going to have to find a way to get back to running the ball successfully in order to win this game. Hey, listen, you're not going to win playoff games if you can't run the ball unless you're throwing 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I don't think Dak's going to do that.
Right?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, basically 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen don't even need a running back. I'll do both, coach. Don't worry. I got it.
But so Tampa Bay's rush defense, they give up 120.7 yards per game, 15th in the league. So like middle of the pack, right? Tampa Bay's pass offense, though. We just talked about Tom Brady breaking the record this year for most completions and most attempts in a year. They are 2nd in the National Football League in passing yards. And what's crazy is all of those pass attempts, they have the second lowest interception rate in the entire National Football League. Meaning that they only throw an interception on 1.3% of their pass attempts.
You know, so, it's number 1, right?
Yeah, New York Giants, 1.2%.
1.1, brother. Don't slight us that 0.1.
I thought I saw 1.2, but
slight us that 0.1.
tomatoes, rounding up, rounding down. But obviously, Dallas's pass defense, that whole narrative about giving up yards, it's not necessarily true for Dallas's defense. They've given up the 8th fewest passing yards in the National Football League, and they also have the 7th most interceptions with 16. So they're going to have to find a way to kind of, force Tom Brady into throwing some turnovers in order to kind of, flip the tables on this game. Then we're going to start talking about what Tampa Bay has to do, because Tampa Bay struggles to score points, which is weird to me that you're throwing the ball all over the field, but you can't score any damn points.
Yep.
They are 52% in the red zone, which is 22nd in the National Football League. They're going to have to find a way to score. Obviously, Dallas has a pretty good red zone defense. They're 9th best in the NFL in red zone defense. Now, this is crazy because we talked about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles and the red zone maniac all year long. But, you go a couple weeks without Jalen Hurts, and what happens? The Dallas Cowboys jump you and take the spot for the #1 red zone offense in the National Football League, which is kind of crazy.
I would say that with a grain of salt, because when they talk about #1 red zone offense, they're just going off of efficiency. They're not going off of just attempts as well. So to me, I think it's just as important to be efficient in the red zone as it is to
getting
get
down
to the red
there.
zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to get there.
So,
I think that's important.
That's definitely something that obviously Tampa Bay has struggled at, and at times Dallas has struggled at. But the key is that if you can get down there, that's going to be the battle is who can score and who can stop who in the red zone, because that's a big difference, obviously, in a game, because that's how, especially in the playoffs, between 6 and 3 or 7 and 3 or 8 and 3, however you want to look at it, or 0. Because, nowadays these teams will just go for it on 4th down. They said, we have a kicker. You know what I'm saying? So the red zone is going to be really interesting.
Tampa Bay is tied for 18th as far as red zone attempts per game.
Yeah. So not great, not horrible, but the big difference here is plain as simple. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a big difference. And, you could say it's not like Tom Brady had a bad year.
Definitely
You
not.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely
he had
not.
a solid year. They're going to have to find a way to run the ball. And I don't know if they're going to or not. They might just be like, nah, we're just going to continue to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Dallas, I think we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday about Dak Prescott and the ability to have the running game really fuels Dak's game as a quarterback. And it's like that for most quarterbacks. The running game helps. But Dallas is going to need somebody else to step up besides CeeDee Lamb. I mean, Schultz can be a guy, but Schultz isn't going to put up Kelsey, Kittle, sort of numbers at the tight end position. He might give you a game where it's 89 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. He's done that before. But you're going to need somebody has to step up. I don't know if you're going to rely maybe more on the passing game to Tony Pollard. But Michael Gallup, those guys, Noah Brown, somebody's going to have to step up besides CeeDee Lamb, because it opens up the offense so much more. But I just don't see a way that Dallas, I can see Dallas could come out here and play, they could put up 40 points. We know that. But they've been so inconsistent that it's hard for me to believe that Dallas is going to come into Tampa Bay and beat Tom Brady for the first time ever, and off of the way that they've been playing as of late. I don't see it. So, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game.
Okay, pump the brakes on the score real quick. Let me give you a couple more nuggets here.
You going to change my mind?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to definitely try to. Because, you look at Tom Brady's statistics, all time he's played the Dallas Cowboys 7 times. So, beating Tom Brady, it's not like they've played a ton of times. That's the other thing, you got to keep in mind here. The game is at home. I think that does favor Tom Brady a lot. But for the Cowboys, it's going to start with the running game. If they can run the ball against this Tampa Bay defense, it's going to make everything easier for them. Because what's happening here, I wouldn't even say that the Dallas Cowboys have been inconsistent. They are literally just on a decline. I wouldn't call it inconsistent. They played extremely well throughout the beginning of the season. Yeah, they lost to the Bucs in that Week 1 matchup. They didn't even score a touchdown in that game. But since then, when they had the backup quarterback come in, Cooper Rush, he did his thing. Dak Prescott came back. You were hoping that he would get in Dak normal stride, which I don't know if he quite did throughout that whole tenure. And then now the last couple of weeks here, you're seeing the Dallas Cowboys kind of fall off a little bit here, and they're unable to run the ball. And that's normally their security blanket. But for me, it's also this defense as well. Not having Leighton Vander Esch in the defensive lineup, that hurts them for sure. But the guys that are there, the Micah Parsons, those guys got to step up. Number one, I think you got to get pressure on Tom Brady. This is the old New York Giants game plan from the Super Bowl, pretty much. Mm-hmm. If you can get that pressure on Tom and be able to cover on the back end just long enough so that Tom Brady can't get rid of the ball in under 2.5, 2.8 seconds, it's going to give you a great shot at winning this game. Now, you talked about Tom Brady's statistics a little bit here and saying that, it wasn't a bad season. This is a great season. The guy threw for 4,694 yards. It's the third most in the entire league right now. So I know this is like what I was saying about Patrick Mahomes, and me and the homies was talking about this today too. I was saying like Patrick Mahomes is kind of underrated, and they were like, what? I'm like, yo, like people don't give him the credit that he deserves because he's so damn good, and he's already set the threshold, and the threshold is not low. The threshold is very high for a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and it's very high for the best quarterback in the history of the game in Tom Brady. Third most yards in the league, but the Bucs offense, like you talked about, when they get to the red zone, they're struggling. And not only getting to the red zone, just scoring, period. This offense has been struggling all year long. They're 25th in scoring right now. Brady threw for 25 touchdowns this year. Last year, he had 43 touchdowns. So the fall off is dramatic for Tom Brady as far as putting the ball in the end zone. A couple of games, I think he missed Mike Evans for 2 games, missed Godwin for 2 games as well. But defensively, this Cowboys team, they got to get pressure. Now, look, Micah Parsons, he had 2 sacks in the Cowboys' season-opening loss to Tampa Bay, right? He finished the year with 13.5, okay? He also led the NFL with 90 quarterback pressures. But to me, this is the stat of all the stats for Micah Parsons. In the last 6 games, he had 1.5 sacks. This is why I'm saying this is not a thing of consistency. This is a team that was on the decline. Now, Dallas led the NFL right now. They had 33 takeaways on the season. They're the first team to lead the NFL back-to-back years in takeaways. I've been talking about this stat for about 3 weeks now since the Pittsburgh Steelers did that back in 1972 all the way to 74. So this defense started off extremely hot, got a little bit banged up. We already know they lost 2 of their cornerbacks, one of their starters, one of them was a depth piece. They lost 2 of their cornerbacks. That really hurt them. And I thought that was going to be the changing piece for them that might really hurt them, because if you can't cover on the back end, how is guys like Micah Parsons supposed to be able to get to the quarterback? You talked about the sacks on the season. The Cowboys finished the year 3rd, I think you said, with 54 sacks on the season. They had 48 sacks through 12 games. So you're looking at just 6 sacks as a team from weeks 12 or game 12 all the way to game 17. This defense has fallen off. Now, after you get pressure on Tom Brady, what I saw from Tom Brady the week before, the beard want one of these real quick.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. A little extension.
Right? But if you look at the last game that the Bucs did win against the Carolina Panthers, when pretty much everything was on the line. It wasn't that great of a game from their offense, but they had big plays, and all the big plays came from Mike Evans. I believe it was at least 2. I think it might have been 3 touchdowns in that game. Mike Evans has been the constant for that Bucs offense. First player in NFL history to begin a career with 9 consecutive seasons with at least 1,000 yards. He finished the year.
Is that not like one of the most underrated things? Like, I feel like that gets no love.
Last year
talk. We talked about it a lot. I felt like
this year they didn't talk about it too much.
9 years.
He broke the record last year, so last year they talked about it a lot. But now he's breaking his own record at this point. 9 straight years, 1,000 yards. Even when he's quiet, he's doing damage. He had 77 receptions on 127 targets. So just think about that catch rate right there. He had 1,124 yards, 6 touchdowns. So that goes to show you that Mike Evans has not been consistently getting in the end zone, along with the whole Bucs' entire offense. Chris Godwin, he had more targets than Mike Evans on the year. He had 104 receptions, 142 targets, 1,023 yards. We talked about teams that have 2 wide receivers over 1,000 yards. They're one of them. I don't know how many other teams ended up like this, but there was only one team going into Week 18 that had 2 1,000-yard receivers on the roster. 2, actually. It was the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Chris Godwin, the other thing you got to worry about with him is when he catches the ball, you have to tackle him. This guy, of the 1,023 yards, half of it is yak. He had 531 yards after catch. So you got to be able to tackle him. I think that's also a point that the Cowboys defense has to wake up and realize that in the secondary, you got to make those tackles. Hopefully with these players coming back from injury, this can help the Cowboys get back on track. I do think lingering in the back of their mind is, damn, it's Tom Brady over there. We haven't beaten him yet. I do think that's lingering in the back of their mind. And you're going to go into this game, there's going to be jitters, but at least you get to see the whole wild card weekend play out Saturday and Sunday and get ready for this big game on Monday. You talked about playoff Lenny. I got a little stat here that was kind of crazy. We'll call it the 5-5-5-5-5 stat here, okay? Leonard Fournette, 555 scrimmage yards in 5 playoff games. You got to find a way to limit him. Don't think that they'll come out here and just completely abandon the run because they're the worst rushing team in the NFL. Mike McCarthy, in his presser today when he was talking about this, he said they kind of caught us off guard in week 1 because when you study teams' tape for week 1, all you're looking at is all their tape from last year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a passing team, and we thought that they wouldn't come out here and just run the rock on us like they did, and they took advantage of that, and they beat them. I think in this game, this is going to be about balance defensively and balance offensively for the Dallas Cowboys. If the Cowboys can't run the ball, they're not going to have a great chance to win this game. If they do have a chance, it's just going to show you that the Bucs really aren't that good of a team. They snuck into the playoffs at 8-9, damn near let the Carolina Panthers come back, and the Atlanta Falcons damn near had a chance there up until about week 16 or something like that. So for me, I do think the Dallas Cowboys are the better team. Are they going to come out here and play better is the big question. And the one thing we kind of left off here is the turnovers. Dak Prescott, you cannot come out here and be throwing pick sixes. You cannot do what you did against Washington because you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, and that's not going to give your team the opportunity to even be able to establish the run. Come out here, I would go conservative for the first 2 quarters if I was the Dallas Cowboys and literally try to just establish the run the whole time. If you establish the run, the Dallas Cowboys can beat you with the play action. I think Dak Prescott could even see his way to a couple of rushing yards if they can establish the run. Get these wide receivers down the field, create some depth, allow, this offensive line's obviously going to have to be able to give Dak Prescott the amount of time to allow guys like CeeDee Lamb to get down that field, run those crosser routes, those deep routes. It's going to take a big play or two to win this game. I'm leaning towards the Cowboys. I really am leaning towards the Cowboys. And I think I'm going to pick them because I just think they're the better team. It's been a couple weeks. They haven't been on track here. Washington is a team that I think it's a divisional matchup. Don't allow that game to blur perspective on what team is better here. I'm taking the Cowboys. I think this game could go as crazy as it be a blowout and the Cowboys win it like 34 to 17. But I'm going to play this one a little bit conservative because I think they're going to come out here and try to establish the running game. And penalties, man. The Cowboys, don't shoot yourself in the foot with the penalties. Y'all been doing that all year. 2 years in a row, y'all have been at the top of the league as far as penalties go. I'm taking the Cowboys in this one, man, and I'm going to go a pretty close game. I think Tom Brady's going to get a shot at the end of it. I'm going to go 27-21 Dallas Cowboys.
Man, you're very, 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 very on point.
Mama Dallas said I should have been a lawyer.
Dallas can definitely win this game, and they definitely can win this game by a large margin. Like I said, Tampa Bay hasn't necessarily scared anybody. We have seen Dallas come out and blow some people out, and not like bad teams either, good teams or playoff teams nonetheless, or playoff close teams. But for me, and this is no hate, okay? Because I know you guys are going to say, come on, Beard. It's playoffs. Don't hate on the Cowboys. Your Commanders aren't in the playoffs. But I have a hard time picking against Tom Brady. Okay, I do. And this just a recipe for disaster is still,
Like last time the Bucs were in the playoffs, you picked against Tom Brady.
I know, and I regretted it. Remember? I learned my lesson, man. But the recipe for disaster for the Dallas Cowboys. Big shout out to Fabian for the $2 super chat. Says, love your show. Rather watch it instead of It's Academic.
It's Academic is fire.
They film It's Academic here in D.C., don't they?
Ooh, I wouldn't know that.
I think so. But don't quote me on that.
They could play the It's Academic theme song. I wouldn't even recognize it.
You know the guy, though.
Nope.
Come on, man. The white guy with the big glasses, old man. They might have changed it, though. I might be telling my age right now.
Yeah.
Einstein never made it on that. It's Academic.
Rightfully so.
But I am going to also go the close game. I'm going to go 22. Actually,
y'all just scored 22 on them, right? Or was that
Yeah.
26-6, I think, for y'all.
26, yeah. I'm going to go 2017 Tampa Bay.
I'm going to take some notes on these scores just so we have them.
If you are in the chat, make sure you guys tell us your scores. I'm curious to see. Okay, big shout out to our guy, Chris Peace, in the building. He's got Tampa Bay 28, Dallas 24. Big shout out to my girl, Lady Luck Junk, in the building. What's going on, Danica? Appreciate you stopping by. She's in Texas. Let's see who else we got with some more scores here. James Earl Mose, 23-16, Tampa Bay. Raziel the Great, 33.
Raziel, I asked.
33-17, Dallas. That's the blowout right there.
I said 27-21. You said
2017.
2017. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
I do that too a lot. Like, say the score, forget the score.
Because I have like 5 scores go through my mind before I actually pick one. Gregory says 30-24. Dallas. Big shout out to PJ. I see you in the mix. PJ's in the building.
PJ? What's popping, fam?
Cod 001 says 26-17.
I like that score too. I like that.
I could definitely see that one. PJ says 28-24 Cowboys. I'm still waiting on a Monique score, please.
4 touchdowns. I like it, though. I like it.
Please report to the scoreboard, Monique. Marjorie says 24-21 Tampa Bay. Crypto Move says 27-21 Tampa Bay.
Very split. We're all split on this one. We're pretty split.
D. Biddle says 21-14 Dallas. Dak throws a pick 6 to lose.
So he's giving that really to the Bucs.
Yeah. 30-21 Cowboys. Lamamba James.
I like that. I like that score too.
Dak interception.
Listen, man, the key for the Dallas Cowboys, you cannot have Tony Pollard have a bad game again. That cannot happen. He's got to put up at least 80 yards. At least 80 yards for y'all to compete in this game. This whole, 19, 30, 36 yard, that's not going to cut it from him. And I'm giving him if I got to give Tony Pollard the rock 20 times in this game, I'm doing it. Because he's what makes that offense move. He's what can keep defenses off balance. So you got to get Pollard going. And I think Ezekiel Elliott will be a direct benefit of that.
For sure.
If you get 100%. Pollard going, then Zeke will get his goal line touchdowns and do all that stuff.
Absolutely. And it's so important. And I don't know, we've been saying it for, I feel like, 3 years now. Just Tony Pollard is a playmaker, Dallas.
He's a playmaker.
Find a way. I'm like throwing my pen now. Find a way to get him the ball. Monique says, actually, Einstein competed on It's Academic. It must have been your senior year, because if it was your junior year and I was a senior, I'm pretty sure they would have asked me to be on the team. Joseph Clark, 24-17, Dallas. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Real people got the Bucs, 30-3.
That's too much. That'd be OG Tom Brady right there, just lighting it up.
35-28 Tampa Bay. 34-18 Tampa Bay.
A lot more Tampa's pulling up now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and Tampa Bay doesn't score that many points, so that would be kind of crazy. This is where 24-23, I kind of like, that's where I'm at. Mobster music, 20 Dallas, 23 Tampa Bay wins. This right here is where this game 100% could be. 19-17 sort of game either way.
Too low.
Too low?
Because with that kind of a game, you're going to have both defenses ball out. I just don't see that happening. Not with the way the Dallas Cowboys have been on this skid, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been banged up on their defensive side, throughout the whole entire year. So
I'm so upset that I threw my pen on that Tony Pollard rant. I can't find it now. It's fallen into a box.
Gotta have the cup, man, right next to you was, a couple pens right there.
I got a Sharpie now. So, all right. I feel a little bit better now. There is Monique. 24-21 Dallas.
I like that score. Too.
So big shout out.
A field goal more than Monique did.
Big shout out to everybody in the chat dropping their scores. Demario says 28-27 Bucks.
That would be a close one right there. Sheesh, that would be crazy.
Cowboys disrespect, says
I feel you,
Gregory.
Greg. I feel you, dog. I feel you. I tried, dog. I presented my case to the defense.
Yeah. I
They
gave a
wasn't
lot of
feeling it.
flowers. I gave a lot of flowers. I mean, it wasn't a dozen roses, but it was like some Langley Park corner
know.
roses.
Those are good flowers. Don't you dare dog Langley Park like that. I don't remember what were the flowers.
I mean, I talked about how good they were in certain aspects of the game.
All I heard was inconsistency and
at least I gave them something. You just said they're just
obviously they're bad and
they're
obviously
crashing.
These are two teams that aren't. That's all I heard. That's all I heard.
This one right here, though.
Where's my pen? Yeah, straight up.
Shout out to James
Tampa.
Funk checking in from Facebook.
That's an interesting score, too, 25-23. I like that.
Yes. I don't know, man. It's going to be a close game. Or it's going to be a blowout.
I will say this. If it's a blowout, I do think the Bucs are going to take it. We saw it with Washington and the way that – but this is the thing. It's a matchup thing. This is why I don't see the blowout happening. Washington has the tools to match up against the Dallas Cowboys for a game like that. Run the rock. I mean, your quarterback threw the ball 17 times, 19 times or something like that, 41 runs. The Bucs can't do that, I don't think. So they're going to have to pass the ball a lot. I think the Dallas Cowboys defense can hang with them. Micah Parsons, man, this your spotlight, bro. Show up.
I watched some breakdown of the film against Washington last week. I always tell people that it's not always about the sacks. I mean, dude, he is so quick.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many plays that he literally affected the play within like 2 seconds of the snap.
Yeah, aggressive.
It's just he has so many different moves too, and he can hit you from all over the defensive side of the ball. Like, he's really, really, really good. Yep. So you definitely have to game plan for him, because the last thing you want is Tom Brady trying to run away from Micah Parsons. So.
Oh yeah, and you know how Tom going to do. He's going to try to step up in that pocket. 3-4 seconds, that thing gone. So I think
so that
interior a lot on the secondary for the Dallas Cowboys. You're gonna have to cover for a little something. Give Micah Parsons that time to get there.
You're gonna have to get some press coverage. You're gonna have to get some interior pressure. So you kind of take away the ability of Tom Brady to step up. Those are definitely going to be some keys defensively for the Dallas.
And the big play is so important. Yeah. A guy like Trayvon Diggs, you got to choose your spots when to be risky, when you want to try to go for that pick. We haven't seen that for a while here now. And if he could get a turnover in this game, it could really change the way this game goes. But don't find yourself on an island or something with Mike Evans and you fall for the bait and now they get a 40, 50-yard play over the top on you. That's not the vibes right there. You're going to have to play a sound game, and when it's time to take that risk, take that risk. If you get a long 3rd and 10 or something like that, maybe you could take that risk, but don't be out here making those big mistakes, man. We saw him. He's been getting beat. It looks like that old Trayvon Diggs they were talking about, a year ago, when they're like, oh, this guy's giving up so many passing yards. He was like at the top of the league as far as passing yards given up on him.
And the main thing here, too, is
that one is the first time since 1999 that all three Florida teams are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's when the Jaguars came in the league, I think, right?
That was the Mark Brunell year, I believe.
They were the expansion team with the Titans. I think that was 1999.
Well, no, they were the expansion team with the Panthers, I believe.
Oh, it was with the Panthers. Yep, yeah. It was with the Panthers.
I think for me also, it's going to be really interesting from the fun standpoint, obviously, and the outside looking in, some of the over-unders for this game, because there's some big names, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Zeke, Pollard, Lamb. So it's going to be interesting to see who, if the game isn't ugly like it possibly could be, like the first matchup, albeit it was the first game of the season, it was not very entertaining like the last one. There was 2 years ago where they played in the first week of the season also, right? And it was like a 30-something to 30-something game.
Yeah, they're now back-to-back season openers, 2022 and 2021.
So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out here. But, to all the Dallas Cowboy fans who are here watching with Awthentik and the Beard and are part of our family, I will wish you nothing but the best.
Let me give you a couple over-unders real quick, since we're not going to be doing these ones. I'm going to go quarterbacks only. So, Dak Prescott over 250.
You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm
going to say yeah.
I'll go over. I'll go over.
Taking over on that. Dak Prescott over 2 touchdowns.
Under.
I'm gonna take the push on that one. Tom Brady over 2 touchdowns.
See, this is why you got to throw those 0.5s in there, man. I'm gonna take.
You want a 0.5? I'll go 2.5. Over 2.5.
I'll take the under on that.
All right, and Tom Brady over 300.
What's he averaging a game?
I mean, the man got like 4,800 yards on the season.
4,800 divided by, he's probably averaging like 280 a game right now, I'd say. Off of rough at bath in my head. So I'm going to take the.
I had the Tom Brady numbers here.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under. Just
under 300?
Under. Yeah, just under. Probably around 280.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I might even take the under 250. All right. Well, let's take a little quick giant overreaction commercial break real quick.
Oh, I like that one too.
When we come back, we'll do the Giants recap here, and then we'll do trivia to finish out the show. So hang with us, y'all. For me, I'm gonna say for now, this is an overreaction.
With 11:16 to go here in the third.
All right, y'all. We are finally here, man. Wild card weekend for our New York Giants, man. Sitting at 9-7-1, headed to Minnesota to take on the 13-4 Vikings. This one is on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. You got the over/under numbers on this one in the spread?
I do. So the Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3 points. The over/under is 48. So
48.
they're expecting you guys to put up, a good 20 points.
Yeah, it was 47 in the last
23,
game.
like
27 to 24 was that? Oh, so it was a little more than that actually. Yeah. So I see. I like it. So last week the Giants lost to the Eagles with the CBA team 22-16. The Vikings beat the Bears 29-13. The Giants have won 2 of the 3 postseason matchups versus the Vikings. The most recent one was a 41-0 victory in 2000 in the NFC Championship game at Giants Stadium on January 14th, 2001. The Giants are 24-25 in postseason games. This win could get us to 500. The Vikings are 21-30. Doesn't matter, neither here nor there. The wildcard Giants and Vikings are 2 out of the 7 playoff teams that didn't make it last year. So 7 new teams this year. The Giants and the Vikings are 2 of the 7. Brian Daboll of the Giants and Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings are 2 of the 3 head coaches that are in their first year right now, and they're in their first playoffs as well. The Giants have won. This stat right here bothers me. Out of our last 10 games, we have won 3 games. So when we're talking about a little bit of a decline, I know you talked about how impressive it was with the Giants finishing out the season because of the performance against the Vikings in Week 16, I believe that was, and then the clinching game against the Indianapolis Colts. All in all, man, 3 wins out of the last 10 games, and you got the 1 tie against the what's the name of y'all team again? The
Commanders.
Now, I want to take this back a little bit. to that first matchup, just to remind y'all a little bit of what went down and why the Giants lost that game. It was 27-24 that the Vikings beat us on a game-winning 61-yard field goal. Now, you cannot forget about how the Giants started off extremely slow in that game. Although Daniel Jones got it together and he did throw for over 300 yards in that game, he started off extremely inaccurate in that game, and it was a slow start for the offense. And then also, you can't forget, Giants got a little bit crazy with the passing in the third quarter. Jones ends up throwing an interception, but it was the best that I've seen that passing attack look all season. Jones had 10 straight completions before he ended up throwing that interception on a pass to Isaiah Hodgins across the middle. You cannot forget about the Richie James third down drop, pivotal third down drop with that game very close. Cordell Flott had the dropped interception. They went back, reviewed that one. Ended up being a drop for Cordell Flott. They had the block punt in that game as well. Defense couldn't close out on 2 third and longs on the last possession, both from Justin Jefferson. One of them was a 7 route. The other one was a screen play where Kayvon Thibodeau kind of got caught off guard, got pushed out of the way of the play, and everybody in the secondary got blocked up, and Justin Jefferson ended up picking up like 10+ on that one. And Daniel Bellinger's early fumble, which I thought led to the reason why Daniel Jones kind of started off slow in this game. So with all that said, all those mistakes, right? The Giants were still in this game, and it came down to the last play. It really came down to who had the ball last, and that just so happened to be the Minnesota Vikings. They boot a field goal that was the longest field goal in franchise history, and we know they had one of the better kickers in the NFL. In what's homie's name? I think it was Morton Anderson.
Morton Anderson, I believe.
Did miss the biggest kick of his life. I will not forget that. That team with Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, that was supposed to be a Super Bowl team, and he missed an easy kick to send them to the Super Bowl. But those were some major key factors in why the Giants lost that game. Now, I think Giants fans, I'm noticing this on Twitter right now, right? Everybody kind of feels like, oh, well, you just got to correct all these things you did wrong. And they're almost acting as if the Minnesota Vikings are just going to stay at the same exact spot. And all we got to do is correct what we did wrong. Same game plan, and we'll end up winning this game. Now, I think that this is something that I wanted to bring up here that, I thought this was interesting in this game versus the Vikings because the Giants passed the ball a ton in that game. And I kind of wanted to see how you was feeling about this one too. Did the Giants get a little bit too pass happy in the first matchup versus the Vikings?
I mean, obviously, I'm a RTDB guy. I don't think so. I don't think they got too pass happy. I think maybe they got a little unbalanced. I think would be a better way of describing it, because I do think that the way to attack this Vikings defense is through the air. And obviously, I'm going to go over that a little bit when hopefully Waze still sponsors the road maps, even though, okay, I just want to make sure we're still on the same page. Thank you, Waze. We appreciate your unofficial sponsorship. But yeah, I don't think so. I think it was a matchup sort of situation. I do think, though, that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more balance in the run pass. But I don't think they got too pass happy. Because, I mean, like, I've seen pass happy. And that's like, we've seen some 40, 50, 60, I feel like. The Vikings can get pass happy at times. But I don't think so. I think it was a good, attack on the holes in the Minnesota Vikings defense. Okay,
may I present some evidence to the courtroom here?
Absolutely, of course. I didn't expect anything otherwise from you. Lawyer.
So I'm going to have to 1,000, 3,000, 400,000% disagree with you on this one, okay? Now, Giants fans, we looked at this Minnesota Vikings game for the most part. Everybody was very ecstatic about Daniel Jones throwing for over 300 yards. He had 334 yards in this game. Minnesota was and still is the 31st ranked pass defense in the league, right? Jones threw the ball 42 times in that game, okay? Now, I want to go back. Let me see if I still got these numbers up here. I still got these numbers up here. Good stuff. Saquon Barkley had 14 carries in that game, and we lost the game in a game that was back and forth the whole time. So split that. That's 7 carries per half. We are not built like that. This team is built to run the ball around Saquon Barkley and to run the ball around Daniel Jones. You didn't see read option in this game from Daniel Jones. You didn't see design quarterback runs in this game from Daniel Jones. Instead, you saw a quarterback go 30 of 42, which looked great. And everybody who wants those stats, the 300-yard games and all that, all that's amazing. I don't even think Daniel Jones threw for a touchdown in this game either. I might be mistaken on it. I got the numbers right here. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception in this game. The touchdown ended up going to Isaiah Hodgins in this one. That was that whip route, I believe. It was a beautiful route by Isaiah too. But for me, I think that it wasn't about unbalanced. They got completely away from the run. And I think the reason why they did that is because they was looking at that pass defense rank. You go, oh, they're ranked 31st. Let's get a little cute here. And I said it. I put it in the notes. I said it in that recap show after Week 16. They got a little bit cute, and Mike Kafka tried to pass the ball a little bit too much in the third quarter, and it ended up in Daniel Jones throwing an interception. I want to say they passed the ball like 6 straight times on that drive. Chris Sims, I was watching his podcast today. He was actually featured on the New York Giants channel. I forget the host of that show, but he was featured on that show with him today. He said, don't allow what other teams do bad to change what you do good. He said, just do what you're good at. The Giants are a running football team. Yeah, we saw it against the Colts. The Colts are a 4-12-1 football team. You can throw the ball against them. Okay. Minnesota Vikings, we saw them throw the ball against them. But outside of those 2 games, the Giants really have not gotten pass happy all season long, okay? We cannot forget, the Minnesota Vikings aren't just bad on defending the pass. They're bad at defense. They're the 20th ranked rush defense in the NFL right now.
Bad defensively as a whole.
My thing with the Saquon Barkley thing, the Giants were averaging 6 yards per carry, and you ran Saquon Barkley 14 times. To me, you definitely 1,000% got pass happy. So I want to start this segment off with this. Now, I do got some keys to victory. I'm going to let you go with the roadmap to Wazé first. You all ready? You all good to go? You got the keys started up, ignition?
We're ready.
Yeah, you get on the freeway. What? No, turn right. Get out of the lane. No. Okay, get procedure. Just get out the lane.
All right. I thought it was only right that I presented a roadmap for, the New York Giants and the Awthentik and the Beard family here. Obviously, based upon, I'm glad, we had that little prior discussion because I didn't even include this in a roadmap because it's like an automatic. It's like, you're driving to New York and you got to get on 95 from DC. Like, you already know that. You know what I'm saying? So RTDB is basically I-95 in this. So you have to be able to run the ball. Saquon Barkley is your best player. In the biggest game of the season, you need to rely on your best player, obviously, okay? Now, I did a little bit of digging and a little bit of calculating, and I created a algorithm, okay? It's either an algorithm or an algorithm, whatever you want to say, but I put together some numbers. The Minnesota Vikings have lost 4 times this season. So I went in and I took a look at each one of their losses and I calculated some numbers that seem to be a common denominator in each one of their losses, okay? So Justin Jefferson and the way that he performs or the way that the defense controls Justin Jefferson's performance is very key in their losses. Now, in every single one of their losses, Justin Jefferson is under 100 yards except for one. And that was an anomaly of a game. In the game where the Minnesota Vikings lost to the Detroit Lions, Justin Jefferson had 11 catches for 223 yards. Outside of that, he had 6 for 48 in a loss, 3 for 33 in a loss, and 1 for 15 in a loss, okay? So, when you break it down to the averages, the New York Football Giants want to hold Justin Jefferson under 6 catches for 80 yards. That's the goal for the New York Giants. Hold Justin Jefferson under 6 and 80. That is the goal, all right? Turnovers. In every one of the Minnesota Vikings losses, they turn the ball over. Okay, it is very important for the New York Giants to be able to force turnovers. In the 4 losses for Minnesota, they turned the ball over 3 times, 1 time, 2 times, and 4 times. So they're averaging 2.5 turnovers in every one of their losses. So if the New York Giants can force at least 2 turnovers, they will be in a position to win. Next is rushing. Hey, listen, I mean, Kirk Cousins is your quarterback, guy. So you should be okay. He led the league in interceptions, right? 15 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken.
Dak Prescott and Davis Mills.
What?
Kirk Cousins is probably like fifth, something like that.
I think Kirk Cousins is up there. He turns the ball over. We know it's Kirk Cousins, and it's a playoff game. Kirk Cousins has only won one playoff game his entire life. But rushing defense is important for the New York Giants, and we know how the New York Giants rushing defense can be at times. Now, they've only ran the ball over 100 yards once in their losses, and that was for 102 yards. So in their 4 losses, they ran the ball for 62 yards, 73 yards, 22 yards, and 102 yards. So if the New York Giants can hold Dalvin Cook under 65 yards rushing,
damn,
that will be key to their victory.
You talking about keys to a blowout right now?
No. These are
hold Justin Jefferson under 80 and hold Dalvin Cook under 60 and get 2 turnovers.
I mean, listen, this is how the Minnesota Vikings lose. You want to win, this is what you got to do. This is what the winning formula.
Lost to them by 3. I don't even think they turned the ball over. Justin Jefferson had over 100 yards. TJ Hockenson had 109, 2 touchdowns.
That's why you lost, okay? I'm trying to give you the roadmap to victory. This isn't the roadmap to almost winning.
A 61-yard game-winning field goal, man.
Hey, listen.
My bad. I had to, I'm sitting navigating, sitting shotgun like, where the hell is we going?
I know it's crazy, but this is how you win. This is how you win. Listen, I think
at least 2 turnovers, man.
2 turnovers is not
That's
crazy.
What our defense has to do.
This
and
is what you can do.
Justin Jefferson under 80 and 6.
Listen, look, this guy, LaBama James. He says, guys, defense can do it.
Is some whole different shit.
All right, up next, we got some more defense for the New York Giants. Red zone defense, okay? In the 4 losses for the Minnesota Vikings, in the red zone, they were 1 of 4, 0 of 1, 2 of 4, and 1 of 3. Okay, so in a grand total of 4 losses, they were 4 for 12 in the red zone. Averages out to 1 for 3. So the New York Football Giants needs to hold the Minnesota Vikings to a 1 of 3 in the red zone. Okay, that's the goal right there. 1 of 3 in the red zone.
Now we got a little realistic. I like it. Okay.
Third downs. Okay, third down offense for the Minnesota Vikings in their 4 losses. 4 of 12, 1 of 11, 4 of 10, and 5 of 12. That's a total of 14
of 11 was against the Cowboys. I remember that one.
14 of 45 on third downs in their 4 losses. That comes to an average of about 4 of 11. So if the Giants can hold them to a under 50% third down conversion rate, they can win this game. And last but certainly not least, we're going to go a little offense here, okay? In each one of the Minnesota Vikings losses, the opposing quarterback threw for at least 300 yards except for 1 game, okay? So the opposing quarterback in the 4 losses of the Minnesota Vikings threw for 323 yards, 307 yards, 330 yards, and the one anomaly game, 152 yards. So that averages out to about 278 passing yards. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a break, and I'm going to say Daniel Jones needs to pass for at least 275 yards in this game in order for the Giants to win.
Listen, the beard is about to get out at the rest stop and go get some Crunch Donuts. And I'm taking over the wheel because them numbers was crazy.
No, listen, those are all feasible numbers, my guy.
Those are all numbers to blow out the Vikings right there.
No, those are numbers to win, okay?
To win and a blowout. Because that's a lot.
That's
a lot to ask for. 280 you said from Daniel Jones.
275. I said 275.
275 for Daniel Jones. Hold Dalvin Cook to under 60 yards.
No, under 65.
65 yards, okay.
Okay.
Hold Justin Jefferson to under 6 receptions and 80 yards.
Yep.
2 turnovers.
Yep.
And obviously run the damn ball. But we got RTDB, but Daniel Jones is going to get over 275 in the air.
Yeah.
This is asking for a ton. All right. Let me take the wheel here, bro. You've been sobriety check here one time. They're like, he's kind of he hasn't drank in 10 years, but he looks drunk. So can you take the wheel? That's what they're asking for here. And I'm gonna give you your vibes for this one time. I gave you my vibes for your.
I know. I like that.
God, lead dog. Why is that? We're about to lose a sponsorship.
I don't know what's so crazy about all that. Those are all feasible things. 4 teams did that to the Minnesota Vikings this year and won.
Let me give you some numbers you left off here, okay?
Okay, yeah.
First of all, quarterbacks to face the Minnesota Vikings since Thanksgiving, okay? Mac Jones put up 382 yards on them, and they lost the game. The Patriots lost the game, okay? Mike White, shout out to Mike White. He put up 369 yards against them. Jared Goff put up 330, okay? And Daniel Jones got the 334. That's not how you beat a team like this. You damn right you got to run the damn ball. That is facts. 2 turnovers, let me match you and say, Giants, do what you do best. Don't turn the ball over. That's what's most important. The best thing that Daniel Jones has done this year, outside of running for 700 yards and breaking the New York Giants quarterback record, is take care of the ball. And I know that sounds crazy after his rookie season. It was like, what? Like, Daniel Jones, the best thing he does is take care of the football. He led all qualified quarterbacks with a 1.1, emphasis on one, interception rate. He had 3,205 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the year, just 3 fumbles. I know those are modest-looking stats, but you add that 708 rushing yards and his 7 rushing touchdowns, which as a quarterback are tied for 3rd right now with Josh Allen. And Daniel Jones has had a really good season so far. Don't let that fumble nightmare present itself in this game, Daniel. We're going to need you to run the ball. This is not going to be the same game plan you saw in Week 16 where Daniel Jones is going to drop back and throw the ball 42 times. That is not the vibes. Number 2, Saquon. Now, these are some real – them nuggets they just gave you, them things been sitting on the fryer since yesterday, okay?
Oh, these are hot. This is hot nuggets, chicken over here.
I walked in. We ain't do no drive-through so they could finesse us, throw them in the back, thank you, and we roll out, go get down the block, realize the fries is cold, the nuggets is misshaped, and they're all hard. Nah. The magic number is 70. Saquon Barkley needs to get over 70 yards. There's only one game all season long where the Giants actually won the game and Saquon rushed for under 70 yards, and that was this past weekend, 2 weeks ago, against the Colts. And the Colts, they're 4-12-1, so you could just pretty much take that ball up and throw it completely out. Saquon Barkley, it's a must that he gets over 70 yards if the Giants want to win this game. Now we know career high for Saquon Barkley this year, 1,312 yards. That's 4th in the NFL, 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. The Giants' offense is ranked 4th in the NFL in rushing yards with 148.2 per game this season, and 5th in rushing yards per play. We're averaging 4.84 yards per game, which a lot of that got to do with Daniel Jones. So you come out here, run the damn ball, man. This is not a Daniel Jones pass it over 30 because he's not getting over no 275 without passing the ball 30 times. This is Daniel Jones around 28 throws, maximum 30. Maximum 30. This is going to be around 28 throws. Now, for the defense, this is probably the most important thing of this whole entire game. You have to get pressure on Kirk Cousins again because we got a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins in the last game. We had 23 pressures, 4 sacks on Kirk Cousins in the first matchup. The Giants are the number 1 blitzing team, but this is about balance. Wink Martindale, I trust him. Second half of the season, you haven't seen that normal Wink Martindale you're used to where he's just throwing the blitzes at you, engage 8 the whole damn game, hoping that your quarterback's not going to get rid of the ball. 23 pressures last game, 4 sacks. Make sure you get to Kirk Cousins. You don't got to get to him 4 times again. Make sure you get to him at least 2 or 3 times. Put the pressure on him, which is most important. Don't overcommit to the blitz, especially on 3rd and long. This is the key down for the New York Giants defense and Wink Martindale. We've seen it all year long. 3rd and 18, 3rd and 4 running screen plays, and they're picking up these 3rd and longs when they really shouldn't, and that's why we lost the game the first time. It looks like my internet is dropping out a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, you're back.
Now, that's why we lost the game the first time was 3rd and longs. They got the ball with a few seconds left in the game. I think it was like 40 seconds. Justin Jefferson picks up 2 3rd and longs to keep that game going and keep that drive going, and you get the 61-yard field goal to beat us. So it's super important. Make sure that you do not allow them to convert any 3rd and longs in this game. If it's over 3rd and 10, there's no way they should be getting no conversions on that. Now, turnovers will help, obviously. If the Giants can force some turnovers, I'll take one for sure. Giants had 13 fumble recoveries. It tied them for 2nd in the NFL this season. So interceptions, we're down towards the bottom of the league. Landon Collins, when he got that interception, that pick 6 just last week, I believe that was, 2 weeks ago. I swear the Eagles game didn't even happen in my life. I keep saying last week. But 2 weeks ago, that was our 5th interception of the year. So Giants don't get a lot of interceptions. Hopefully we can find a way to get somebody to fumble. All hands on that ball, get hats on that ball. Try to find a way to get a strip here. Maybe we could get 1 turnover. I don't see the Minnesota Vikings turning the ball over twice in this game. And the number 1 X factor for me, we all know Justin Jefferson, you can try your best to contain him, but you're going to get extremely lucky if Justin Jefferson doesn't make it over 80 yards. If he gets 100 yards, so be it. He's the number one wide receiver in the NFL right now. If you can limit him, keep him to around that 90, don't let him go Detroit Lions on you and put up 200-something yards. You're not going to win the game if that happens. Keep him around that 100 mark or somewhere between, maybe 40 to 100, something like that. TJ Hawkinson is the X factor, okay? They brought TJ Hawkinson over from Detroit. He's got career best this year with 2 teams combined, which normally doesn't happen. The Giants have a lot of experience from bringing our own guy from Detroit and Golden Tate, who, he didn't do too great for us. But TJ Hawkinson, 914 yards, 7 games for the Lions and 10 games for the Vikings, okay? 86 receptions, which is the career high for him. When he played us in that first matchup against the Vikings, he had 16 targets. You cannot allow him to abuse us like that again. 109 yards, 13 receptions, 2 touchdowns. That can't happen. I'll allow Justin Jefferson to go out there and put up 100 yards. Obviously we're going to try to, bracket coverage him, put 1 over the top, 1 underneath, try to do our best to limit him. But at the end of the day, I think you can't have the second, third, fourth guy go off. You got to stop those other players, the Thielens, the Osborns, and obviously the TJ Hawkinson. Now, Justin Jefferson, he led the NFL with 128 receptions on the year. This man had 1,809 yards. In the first matchup, he had 12 receptions for 133 yards. That was December 24th, week 16. The Vikings, they had 4 players with 60-plus receptions this year. It's the first time that's ever happened in franchise history. They had Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Osborne all go over 60 receptions. So it's super important of how you limit the other guys because they have other playmakers that can make plays for that offense. You don't want to see this game get out of hand. We've seen this. Speaking of inconsistent, that's the model for this Minnesota Vikings offense. You see some games they go up against the Dallas Cowboys, they can't even score.
3 points.
You get pressure on the quarterback, it completely changes the landscape of the way that they throw that ball. Now, we all know the Giants have been efficient in the red zone, and I'm always talking about this.
Hydrate.
You always bring up the efficient. Got to hydrate. You already know. You always bring up the efficient red zone offense, rank this. I always bring up the attempts. That's been my thing. Shout out to the homie Doug Analytics one time on Twitter. Be breaking down these numbers to the T. I suggest everybody, if you're a Giants fan, go and hit that follow button for Doug Analytics on Twitter. Some of the best information you're going to find on Twitter. So big shout out to him for this whole segment right here. The Giants offense, red zone trips and red zone touchdown percentage. They're 7th in the NFL in red zone touchdown percentage right now. As far as red zone trips, they only have 49 on the season. That's in the bottom third of the NFL right now. That's ranked 20th. The Vikings offense, which is a little bit more consistent when they're getting to the red zone, they're 8th in the NFL, right behind the New York Giants. They're 62.5%. Their red zone trips, they've had 64, which is the 3rd most in the NFL. The Giants defense, on the other hand now, the trips allowed, this is what's so crazy about the New York Giants. We've allowed the 2nd most red zone trips of any team, any defense in the NFL. We've allowed 63 red zone trips on the year. That's ranked 31st. Our red zone touchdown percentage is 5th best in the NFL. If the offense was doing that, I would give them their props. The defense, I got to give the offense their props anyway because they've turned this around from last year. Efficiency-wise, they were ranked 31st last year. And to see them here in the top 10 this year, this is a great turnaround. But defensively, that Giants defense, to allow that many trips, but then have the 5th best percentage of all red zone defenses in the NFL, to me, is a testament to Wink Martindale. That is the change there. This isn't that loose zone that Patrick Graham was running. This is aggressive defense. Go out there, make the play. Offenses don't know what Wink Martindale is sending their way. He's changing up these blitzes and who's coming and who's not every damn game. I hope he's got one more trick up his sleeve because we're definitely going to need it in this game. Now, the Vikings defense is kind of like the Giants offense. Trips allowed, they've allowed the 9th fewest, 49 in the league, but their red zone touchdown percentage is 57.1. That's ranked 21st in the NFL. Daniel Jones and this offense got to figure out a way to get down to that red zone. Unless you want to just score off on the 40 or 50-yard line, throwing some nice little bombs, some nice little touchdowns. I'm with that, too.
You'll get to that 275 real quick doing that.
Give me about 2 or 3 of those. You'll be there quick. Now, for me, it's about getting to that red zone, maximizing the attempts, and when you get to the red zone, be efficient like you've been all year. Some more analytics from the homie Doug from Twitter. He talked about first down. And when I saw these stats, I was like, wow, it really starts on first down. The Giants right now have a pass rate on first down of 44.7. So about half the time on first down, they're throwing the ball. And I think a lot of that balance comes from the first half. If you've noticed with the way that the New York Giants attack, they save Saquon Barkley for the second half. They try to see if they can pass on teams, see what's there in the first quarter and the second quarter, and then they try to be a little bit more balanced in the second half. You got to find a way to set up great first down so that convert on first down so that you have great second and third down, right? Because you don't want, when the Giants get 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13, 3rd and 13.
So difficult.
It's so difficult to climb out of those holes. That also is a nod to penalties. Don't get the first down penalties. Don't set up Daniel Jones for 1st and 15 because those are obvious passing downs at that point. So find a way. Now the Minnesota Vikings are very similar. They pass the ball 53.5% on first down. That's their pass rate. It's the same exact thing. If they're going to be passing half the time on first down, and also the numbers that Doug put up shows that they're much more likely to pass on 3rd and short, which is interesting because they have a decent running back. Even though they haven't had great success on passing on 3rd and short, they tend to do it a lot more. So for me, don't allow the 3rd and short. Set it up on first down. If you know they're going to be passing the ball 53.5% of the time on first down, get that pressure after Kirk Cousins early on downs. Set them up for the 2nd and 12s, the 3rd and 13s, rather than the 3rd and short, which takes me back to my other point, which was the 5th key to victory, which was to limit them on 3rd down and long. Do not allow them to convert the 3rd and long, but to get to there, you got to set that up. For me, those are the 5 keys right there. I don't think this matchup's going to look like it did the first time. It wouldn't surprise me if the scoring is a little bit lower, unless the Minnesota Vikings are finding ways to score on our defense, and then the Giants are going to be forced to pass the ball, obviously. But for me, I think this game is going to be a lot more of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones with his legs. They abandoned the quarterback runs and got really cute in that last matchup, and I think it hurt them. They came out in the 3rd quarter, and they're like, ooh, Daniel Jones is dropping back, throwing this ball all over the field. Let's just keep throwing it. And then he throws the interception, and you've wasted a drive at that point, which could have been the deciding factor in this game because we ended up losing this game by 3 points. For me, I'm going with the Giants. If they present the game plan that I think they will, which will be to rely on Saquon Barkley a little bit more, and I think that the key number here is that 70 yards. If you can get Saquon Barkley over that 70 yards, how many times, I didn't know this stat till just today, but how many times this year did I say the Giants got to be able to find ways to win ugly when Saquon Barkley puts up around 70 to 85 yards? I may have said that on every podcast. And digging through the numbers, every game that the Giants have won outside of one game, Saquon Barkley breached 70 yards. That one game was the Colts game. And it was after getting really cute against the Minnesota Vikings, which should have been a win if we relied on that running game a little bit more. Limit the mistakes. Those mistakes from the first game, the Daniel Bellinger fumble, the 3rd and 5 drop by Richie James, the interception from Daniel Jones, the block punt. Those are four brutal mistakes.
Big plays.
And the Giants still only lost on a game-winning 61-yard field goal. Go out there and handle business. I think the game plan is, this goes back to week 1, the first thing I said when we were going up against the Titans. You know what you got to do. This defense is no good. Do not squander opportunities. Go out there when you get the chances early and often. These windows, you better be diving right through them. First quarter, you better put up some points. Don't think 7 points in the first half is going to be able to have you see your way to a victory. Capitalize. Do not make the mistakes is what it is. Daniel Jones has done a good job all year long of not making mistakes. It's rare that Daniel Jones has thrown an interception in a game, and because they got too pass happy in this game, that's why he ended up throwing that interception. I'm taking my New York Giants all damn day. Y'all know what this is. This is the first time we've been in the playoffs since me and the Beard have been on this podcast, the best television show, not on TV. How am I not going to take the Giants? I got to take the Giants. I think it's going to be very similar to that first game, but just a little bit less scoring. I think the Giants are going to win this one 23-21.
I got 23-20.
Okay.
New York
Vikes
Giants.
or Giants?
New York Giants. 23-20 New York Giants. So I think it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be interesting. Those numbers were and I agree with everything you said, obviously. And I think one of the biggest things before I get to Sebastian is it's interesting that what'd you say it was, they passed on first down 51%?
It was a little bit more than that, I believe. It was
53.1%?
Let me see. 53.5.
53.5% of the time. that is going to be the big down to get those pressures and sacks. If you can, you're going to have the opportunity more than half of the time, based on that statistic, to get the pressure or a sack on a first down. I mean, you can really dominate a game by if you can get 75% of your sacks on first down pass plays. I mean, you're setting your defense up for ultimate success because of those. The playbook completely changes when you're at 2nd and 16. Then maybe you get 6 on second down. Now you're at 3 and 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Like that's a very interesting stat, and I think that defensively you have to look at those first down pass plays as opportunities to really change the outlook of every single drive that they decide to start by passing on first down.
And I think you got to be very weary and be balanced if you're Wink Martindale too, because like I said, a lot of Giants fans are thinking that, Kirk Cousins is just going to come out here and try to execute the exact same game plan that they did the first go-around, where Dalvin Cook only had 14 carries in that first game, 64 yards on the ground. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 48 times for 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times in that game. It's not going to look like that. I know that his 53.5 pass rate on first down, they're going to come out in the first and second quarter and try to establish Dalvin Cook. I guarantee it. Because that was one of the mistakes that they did in the last game. The Giants knew that Kirk Cousins was going to drop back and pass pretty much every down. So pin your ears back, try to get some pressure on the quarterback. I think they'll come out here, they're going to hand the ball to Dalvin Cook. You might see a little bit more Madison in this game as well. And then they'll try to open up things with the play action and maybe a little bit of a short pass attack to get the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands a little bit quicker, because that was a problem too. I don't know if you remember some of the plays where the pressure would get to Kirk Cousins. He'd have Justin Jefferson open, but the pressure would get there and the timing wasn't right and he couldn't make the right throw. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes as well too, that's why I think the scoring will be a little bit lower. It won't surprise me if it's like 20-17 actually, if the Giants defense could come up and show up the way that I know that they can. But first downs are going to be important. Even if you don't stop them to tackles for loss on first down, setting them up for 2nd and 10 is going to be great success for this defense.
Yeah, and I think the big thing too that you talked about just now is the short passing. Let's not forget Dalvin Cook is electric out of the backfield catching the ball too. So that's definitely something that you have to keep your eye on as far as that short passing attack and turning into explosive plays. Big shout out to Sebastian for the $1.99 super chat. Adoree, Xavier, and Aziz back will be the X factor. Pun intended. Shout out to Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, I like that. Adoree being back is major. I mean, you get to line him up on Justin Jefferson as much as possible. That's one of the biggest matchups in this game. And I didn't talk about that. I just think that's pretty obvious. Getting Adoree is going to be great. Xavier McKinney, I think, still going to have the club on his hand, but we already know he's already said in press conferences. We talked about this on Tuesday as well. He thinks he said he's going to be the X factor. So I believe it. He says he's going to be the one that's going to be able to help stop Justin Jefferson. They're not going to look at the middle of the field the same way they did when he wasn't out there. And Aziz, man, getting pressure on the quarterback. We already know Aziz Ojulari, man, he's been balling out. Seems like every game he's got a sack and a strip sack, and hopefully we can get one of those. I think that could be the way we get the turnover over an interception, will be getting to Kirk Cousins and forcing a strip sack. Maybe set us up with some good field position in a short field to be able to, walk into the end zone with a touchdown. But all those factors are definitely key in this game. The defense is going to have to step up all year long. If we don't die on our defense in the running game in this game, it's going to bother me. Because that's how we've gotten to where we are at this year. We ran the ball well, and our defense stepped up in a major way. We played bend, don't break. When teams got down to the red zone, we find a way to stop them. They got to go out there and do this again, and we're looking a little bit more healthy.
It makes you feel a certain way if you go out losing, not even doing, what you've done best all year. I think that goes back to the whole point of, coaches trying to get too cute in certain situations.
And Chris Sims, he said it best on that pod today, man. Just do what you're good at. Don't allow what somebody else is bad at to dictate what you want to try to go into this game and execute. You're a good running team. You're going up against the 20th ranked rush defense in the NFL. Run that damn ball. The Giants offense overall right now is ranked 18th. And the reason why they're 18th is definitely not because of the way they run the ball. They're the 4th best rushing offense in the NFL. They're the 26th best pass offense in the NFL. dead middle pretty much when it comes to scoring at 16th. So the Giants can put up a couple of points. It's not, it's not nothing great. It's okay. We've been right around 17 to 20 points for the most part. I think 20 points can win this game. It just all depends on how you get to that 20. Don't get to that 20 by being down on the scoreboard and having Daniel Jones drop back and throw the ball and try to get into some passing competition with Kirk Cousins, who to me is not only maybe the better passing quarterback, but he's got the better passing weapons out there to beat you with that kind of a game plan. So for me, I want to see one of those games where Daniel Jones don't even look at the last matchup and think, oh, man, I got to breach that performance. I got to go out there and put up 334 and put up 2 touchdowns this game instead of having the 1 touchdown and the 1 interception. Just go out there and do what you do all year long, bro. Use your legs. Try to get about 60 or 70 on the ground, and then try to keep it around about a good 180 to 210, 225 through the air or whatever else they give you. And to me, it'll lend towards a win. All those mistakes last game, bro, and the Giants still only lost on the last-minute field goal. That goes to show you right there. That goes to show you that all we had to do was not shoot ourselves in the foot, and if the coaching would have just been about business and stuck to the damn script, as my man Jay-Z would say, do your thing in there, and we would have won that game. Instead, the Giants looking at 9 wins when it really could have been a good 10 wins with that matchup. And Daniel Bellinger, he's got to be a key factor in this because once that running game gets going, you already know what's going to happen with these little play-action boots. We're going to be looking for Daniel Bellinger out the backfield. I was looking at Mina Kimes today on her podcast, and she had Dominique, what's my man, the ex-player that be with her a lot?
Foxworth?
Dominique Foxworth, that's his name? Why does that sound like a comedian? But Dominique Foxworth, he was on a podcast with her, and she talked about things like that, just like don't get out of character. Just stay in character. How come teams aren't game planning to stop Daniel Jones running the ball at this point? This is another thing she brought up, right? It's like we know when you run the read option, you probably got a 50% chance Daniel Jones is going to keep it. Yet teams have not jumped on it yet. Maybe that says something about Saquon. And I also think this too. This is something that I didn't have in the notes that I didn't talk about today. The running game is going to help Evan Neal. Evan Neal was one of the only starters that played in that Week 18 matchup against the Eagles, and he had a horrible game. The drop-back pass type of deal is not good for Evan Neal. It means you're going to have to keep Daniel Bellinger in to be chip blocking and helping him out, which is going to, in return, not help Daniel Bellinger get down the field and get open for routes. So for me to help Evan Neal out, he's a better run blocker. Let's run right behind him. Get Saquon Barkley going early. The MVP of this game should either be Saquon or Daniel Jones off the strength of Saquon running this ball going over 100 yards or Daniel Jones after Saquon starts to eat and breaches that 70 number. Daniel Jones can get like 60, somewhere between 60 and 95 on the ground to go along with however many passing yards he has.
There's some scores from the chat. Chris Peace. I'm assuming, I don't think anybody is going to pick the Vikings here, but shout out to all the scores. 31-24. That's a high-scoring game. 21-13. A little love from the Dallas side. Here we go. I like this. This is a crazy score. 32-2.
One safety. That's fire. I like that score right there. Big shout out to Blazing Saturday.
24-14. 21-13. Sebastian says, book it. Big shout out.
I like that score, too. Score, too. My 23-21 might be a little bit too many points, I think, possibly. And what did you say? You said 23-20 Giants?
23-20 Giants, yeah. It's going to be an interesting game. And you know what you said, too, about Evan Neal is, offensive linemen love to they love to run block, right? And if you have a guy that's struggling in pass blocking, you get him going. You get the engine going of your offensive lineman by doing that run blocking. It makes being able to run block early and often makes pass blocking a lot easier.
Most
when you
definitely.
have, as an offensive lineman, when you got to step back and do this, like you're doing,
and
the
Jones
cha-cha.
is one of the better play-action quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, it wears on you a lot. So, to pace 103, 28-21.
I like that.
What uniforms are you guys wearing?
I'm not too sure. Probably the regular ones. I mean, they should have brought the legacy ones out for this, but I'm not. You wear color at home, right? Yeah, you wear color at home. So Vikings are going to come out in purple.
I don't know.
The Giants are going to wear white.
Are the Dallas Cowboys wearing navy?
But the Cowboys are one of the only teams in the NFL that they wear the white at home. That's why Thanksgiving is always an issue with them. Teams will wear their home jersey at the Cowboys Stadium for Thanksgiving and whatnot. So I know Giants wear blue at home.
They're wearing those jerseys for the first time, I think, since the 70s, right?
Who's that?
The Cowboys away Navy jerseys.
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't even hear about that, to be honest. I don't even know.
Yeah, very interesting. Monique says 27-24 Giants.
Cowboys are wearing Navy on the road in Tampa. It's interesting. So Tampa chose to wear white? It's weird.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
But you heard something about the Cowboys wearing their Navy?
Yeah, I saw that they were wearing Navy for the first time since like the 70s or something like that.
And Solving the Race Problem said that the Vikings did a whiteout last time we played them. I would love for the Giants to come out if we're wearing white and the color rush them, because the old school helmet, dog, it's just something about that old school helmet is just more fire to me.
It pops.
Yeah, and the legacy uniforms are just straight fire. Saquon is straight dog in that legacy uniform, man. That's what it is. Yeah, big dog.
Oh, I wish you guys the best, man. I think.
My mama says we should get a red helmet with the white jerseys, which would probably look dope. You know what I've been asking for all years? When they go with so I would want to see the legacy jersey with matching pants to the legacy jersey, the same exact blue, and a white Giants legacy helmet with the Giants written out, but the helmet in white with the logo in blue, and then all blue. To me, that should be our color rush because it's big blue. Like, how we wearing all white for color rush when we're big blue? To me, it makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, you could do the same thing with them reds, man. You could go red pants, red jersey with a white helmet that has the old school Giants logo on it.
Now I just feel like we're sitting there making uniforms on Madden right now.
Oh, yeah. You know that was my thing back in the day. We look kind of like the Buffalo Bills. I will say that. But I like the Buffalo Bills color rush joints with the all blue. It's dope.
Listen, shout out No Mets, No Nets, No Jets. He said Tampa Bay need to come on them creamsicles.
I'm surprised they don't retro those more. Those uniforms are awesome. They were a terrible team when they wore those back in the day.
They were so
the
fire.
Uniforms, so dope.
So fire. Shout out to everybody in the building. 83 people rocking with us right now. Oh, man. It's going to be
Eddie Nash says that you must not have watched all Bucs games. Brady definitely didn't have a good year.
He's Eddie Nash is very far behind. I've been monitoring his comments throughout the stream.
Oh, he probably popped in a little bit late. So when he gets to this point, let me give him the Tom Brady stats for the year, just so he know, because it's a down year for Tom Brady. That's what it is. Man, Daniel Jones put up these numbers. I'm losing my mind, bro. Yeah. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,694 yards, 66.8 completion percentage. I mean, my guy.
Give me every single. Oh yeah, I like how he does back it up with a semi-good point. Bucs were third in yards after catch. But listen, the most underrated thing about yards after catch, though, and I deal with this a lot with Washington quarterbacks, is a lot of times, in order to be successful with yards after catch, relies a lot of the placement of the pass from the quarterback.
Definitely. You throw a ball behind a guy, you're not going to get too much yak. And we talked about that with Chris Godwin. 531 yards of his just over 1,000. 531 of it was yak. So half his yards was yak. I get the yak thing, but man, if I'm Eli Manning and I drop back and throw a quick slant to Odell Beckham and I put it right on the button and he takes it 80 yards against the Ravens, well, I'm taking the 80 yards, and it was a good throw and a good play.
Yeah, but if you throw that behind him, he's not going to get that 80 yards.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And that's an easy route for sure, but you got to make those. You definitely got to make those plays. So you got 23-20. I got 23-21. I don't like how those scores are so close, but at least you're picking the Giants. Your roadmap was a little drunken, a little bit.
I mean, listen. I'm looking at it right now, and
don't forget to keep that. Don't rip that piece of paper out, because when we go over the roadmap on the recap, 2 turnovers, 80 yards for. I remember.
You want me to go over it one more time?
No, I don't. At least 2 turnovers was the part that was like, damn. If we can check mark all those, if we can give one of these for each portion of your roadmap, this game won't be close. It won't be no 20-20. Would you say 23-20? It won't be that. Definitely not.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Monique. The Navy is the traditional road Navy road. This is a tongue twister. Road Navy road jerseys, but it was a different Navy 30 years ago, which is the last time we won a playoff game wearing the navy blue. That's what it is.
I think that Navy's the one that my brother had. That Emmitt Smith.
Nah,
jersey.
this is different Navy than that.
Different than that. She said,
I
when's the
think
last
so.
time they wore it? 30 years ago when they were the last time we won a playoff game. 30 years ago, which is in the 90s. That's the blue my brother has.
so.
It's not the modern Dallas Cowboys jersey.
I thought it
It's
was
the
like
old-
the 70s Navy because like when I was reading on it, they showed like it looked like NFL films, 1970s, Roger Staubach-ish.
I'll take a look at it when we sign off, see which one it is with the white trim. That's the Roger Staubach one I'm thinking about. It just got a real like old, it looks like a practice jersey almost.
The big holes in the
Yeah,
mesh
the
jerseys.
big mesh holes. Yo, the jerseys now not even mesh. Yo, get it. I already sent the message out to the New York Giants. Y'all fix those jerseys, man. You can't be selling no iron-on bullshit like that for $150 to these fans. And then the number be like kid size. The number be like this big on the back of the jersey. Like, what are we doing, dog? I'm an adult, man. I'm about to be 40 years old. My number on the back of my jersey can't be looking like that.
Dude, I forget what game I was watching. I don't know if it was. Damn, it's gonna kill me now. I can't remember what it was. But the running back had a double-digit number, like 30 or 40 or something like that, and they were running off the field. And I swear to God, the numbers were like this big. Like
Yeah, some of them be
huge.
like that. Some
I
of
was
them be
like,
like that.
this is
Seattle Seahawks are like that. The Bucs uniforms, the numbers are really large on the back of those. The Giants numbers be kind of large on their game day jerseys, but they ain't even get the Giants mesh jerseys like the players. The players play in an iron-on. What are we doing?
Yeah, those are the new Nike on-field jerseys. I have a Josh Allen autograph.
But those supposed to be for fans, man, not for the players. You go look at the Seattle Seahawks. They're not wearing no iron-on jersey. It's a stitched number with the carbon fiber in the number. Come on, dog. And you got John Mayer out here giving us these St. Catharines looking CYO iron-on jerseys, bro. Come on, dog. That ain't the vibe. That ain't the vibe. So what you about to say?
I was gonna say I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more.
We need more. He was giving out a free medium Pepsi last year, bro.
It's so crazy how so much has changed in 1 year for your New York Giants.
Monique says they're wearing their modern Navy. Interesting.
No,
trust
I don't
Monique.
believe it.
Now, you said something about December football with the Cowboys on one podcast. Monique was like, Looked at the
Yes,
data.
there is, Monique.
She threw the red flag at you. It's like, I think you got this one a little wrong, Beard. All right, we got one more segment before we get up out of here. Like we told y'all earlier, somebody's going to be winning this pretty. Oh, I was going to show this real quick, full screen, one time on him.
I got you.
I see you do. Y.A. Tittle, custom jersey. Shout out to my homeboy Patrick, man. He held us down on this, man. Patrick is a big reason why I'm a New York Giants fan. And, his father was a New York Giants fan from New Jersey, man. Brought the vibes down here. And we got one trivia question. One lucky winner is going to take home this Y.A. Tittle. The numbers are stitched. The jersey is like, it's a custom. So, don't be too surprised when it gets to your crib and you're like, it doesn't have the NFL logo on the tag. It's got something else on the tag. But
Speaking of devil.
my man Pat, right in the building one time. What's going on, brother? So Pat held us down, man. Sponsored today's gift, man. That's going to be the Y.A. Tittle jersey. I hope he doesn't get the question right. We'll be having to give it right back to him. I'm going to keep 100 with you. I did not tell him the trivia question, just so you know. He said just in time. I know that's right. So let's cue up these jazz flutes one time, man, and let's get into trivia time, man. You ready for this, DeBeard?
Yes, sir.
You can give them the rules one time in your Price is Right voice one time so we know what stipulations are. For tonight's Y.A. Tittle signed jersey, it's got all the credentials in the bag when we ship this off, courtesy of my homie Pat Johnson that's in the chat right now. Big shout out to Pat, man. Y'all send Pat some biceps one time for sponsoring today's gift. And the Beard, it's on you.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trivia Time with Awthentik and the Beard. Today's trivia is sponsored by Pat Demand 83. You can find him on Twitter and also give him biceps in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present you all with a trivia question. The first person to answer that question correct in the chat will win the Y.A. Tittle autographed custom jersey. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is the first person that we see in our chat, which may look different than what you see in your chat due to different internet lags and speeds. So in order to be fair, it has to be who we see in our chat first. Ladies and gentlemen, get those fingers ready, and good luck.
That's a 10 out of 10 right there, dog. Come on down, James Monk said. Come on down. All right, y'all.
Man.
I hope you got your Google fingers ready. This one, I'd say scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about a 6.8 difficulty for you guys. Beard, you ready?
Yes, I was born ready. I got it on the first try.
Yeah, I'm getting used to that. I'm definitely getting used to that. I see the biceps in the chat, man. Once again, man, big shout out to Pat one time. He came through, he even dropped it off front door service right here for us, man. We're going to get this shipped out to a lucky winner today. Hopefully it's a New York Giants fan because that just might not work if it's not a New York Giants fan. It might have to be. You still got that Logan Thomas mini helmet?
Yeah, I sure do.
Somewhere in there chilling. All right. So hopefully this one goes to a Giant. I think this is going to go to a Giant fan for sure. All right. Today's trivia question is, this New York Giant had 101 tackles and 9 sacks during the 1987 season and was named to the Pro Bowl. Again, this is who we see first on our end. We'll do confirmation on our side to see who wins this Y.A. Tittle signed jersey one time. See who's coming in hot one time in the chat. Shout out to the gang one time.
I'm waiting for it to do that.
When you see something, Beard, you can just put it in the private chat for me and let me know what's good, and then I'll review the answer.
You got it. I will do that.
See if the Beard's going to make it at the drop. Ooh. Is that what I saw? And today's answer is Carl Banks. Look at the GOAT with the neck brace one time. Had 101 tackles and 9 sacks during the Giants' 1987 season and was named to the Pro Bowl. Big shout out to Carl Banks, who actually really supports this Giants community. I was talking to Entertainer. He's supposed to pop up on his show. Carl Banks has sent me a bunch of stuff, man. The most awesome New York Giants jacket you could possibly imagine. Signed mini football over here, man. He's a great dude, very humble. Follows most of us on Twitter, too, man. He comes into spaces, came into Rob Zero's space, chopped it up with us. That's your trivia answer for today. And our winner, the first one that we saw in our chat, big shout out to the homie of day one time. Stephen Arce in the building is today's winner of the Y.A. Tittle signed jersey. Make sure y'all thank Patrick one more time for supplying us with that Y.A. Tittle jersey. He also told me he might have another gift in the bag since it's the playoffs. So all you Giants fans out there, make sure you cross your fingers that the New York Giants get a victory so we can have another preview show next Thursday. And there might be another jersey we might be giving away. I ain't going to let the cat too far out the bag, but Pat's got a lot of memorabilia that he said he's willing to hold us down with. But again, big shout out to Stephen Arce one time, man. Stephen Arce been rocking with us for so long. That's awesome that a Giants fan could win a jersey like that. And again, big shout out to Pat, man. I definitely appreciate that, Pat. Pat, we got to chop it up tonight, man. We got to hop on Apex. I need to know where we watching this game on Sunday, what we doing. It's going to be a celebration for sure. It's going to be a 23-21 celebration, according to your boy Awthentik. And maybe the Beard 23-20. So we got some good odds here with them low scores.
Jazz flutes.
I still ain't got the trap version ready.
I mean, eventually we're going to get there, right?
It's right there. Tempo's right there. That would be hilarious. Now, you know over here at Awthentik and the Beard, our people in the department would not allow that to happen. You know that. It would be something super fresh for y'all. But again, man, shout out to Stephen Arce, man. That's major right there. That's definitely major.
Definitely a huge win. That's an awesome jersey.
It took everything in my power not to want to keep that jersey. You have no idea, Beard. You have no idea.
Oh, I know. Trust me, because I mean we've thrown some cards down the pipeline here that sure. Have not made it to the other end of the line.
Not up in here. Shout out to the gang, man, for rocking with us today, man, on this preview show, man. Y'all been day ones from the beginning of the season, from the beginning of time with Awthentik and the Beard, man. Y'all definitely been holding us down. We definitely couldn't do this show without y'all, man. So big shout out to all of y'all. Big shout out to the gang. I want this win for myself just as much as I want this win for y'all on Sunday, man. We deserve this. It's been a long time, man. The Giants have not won a playoff matchup since 2011. So hopefully we can add to those playoff wins, get back to 500 as far as the playoff record goes. I think that would be extremely amazing. I think we dove into this, man, and we gave all the outs, all the aspects, all the angles. I'm feeling good, man.
I'm stuffed. I'm stuffed, dude.
Big nuggets.
It's been a long time since I've ate, 40 nuggets.
It's gonna be a long time since I eat more nuggets too, because that was a lot of nuggets, man. That might have been too many nuggets.
No. It was good.
I think the reason why we got so many nuggets is because you served up them cold ones. And
No.
we had to go back and be like, yo, 2 of the 4 pieces was all cold.
Now I hope the Giants win, and they win. I know, but now I really want them to win because I know that if they win, all right, let's do
2
this.
Turnovers.
Okay, listen.
Justin Jefferson
so I
under
gave
80. Dalvin Cook under 65.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I gave you 6 stops on the roadmap, right?
Yeah.
What's the over under on how many stops the Giants hit if they win?
You need at least 3.
So you think I'll hit at least 3 of those if you guys win?
If we win, you might hit all of those. It's going to be a blowout, though. It's not going to be no 23-20 if we get 2 turnovers and Daniel Jones throws for 280.
275. You keep
keep
adding
saying
5
280.
onto everything.
I do. 275 for Daniel Jones.
Yep.
And keeping Justin Jefferson under 85.
80.
I knew that was 80. I tried to add the 5 now to help. And then Dalvin Cook under 65.
Yeah.
And 2 turnovers, at least.
Yeah.
I think you're going to miss on the turnovers. And was there just 4?
No, there's 6.
There's 6. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Give me 2 extras.
50% or less third down conversion for the Vikings.
I think we can handle that. That's easy.
And,
the third down stuff is every roadmap. I'm like, you got to handle
And
third down.
33% in the red zone.
It's not that great.
1 of 3.
Yeah. The Giants will do better than that if we win, for sure.
0 for 4.
Nah. 1 of 3, though. I mean, I think they'll get more trips than 3 trips, probably. It'll either be more than 3 trips or it's just going to be something like that Eagles game, 1 trip, something like that. I hope Wink Martindale got these dudes motivated, man. I really do.
I don't think you got to worry about that. I think these boys are ready.
I hope so, man. Just don't try to do too much.
That's the key,
Don't try
man.
to do too much, man. That 280,
Listen.
285, 275.
Every time you go out is not prom night. Okay?
You know what happened to me on prom night? I showed up with toothpaste on my T-shirt.
Listen, you know about my proms.
I don't think that ever happened in the history of high school for me. But on that night, I was like, oh, damn.
I rolled up. So I went to your prom, obviously.
I remember. Didn't you like show up on a moped or something?
No. That was the second. That was my second prom, my senior year.
Gangster.
Daniel and Chris dropped me off in the purple MPV minivan.
Gangster.
And I wore like just like this though. I had on
You really wore those?
I wore bedroom slippers to prom with my suit.
Oh, you was on 3,000 back then.
I
Y'all
was
don't
on-
know the old beard was a different guy. He was a different guy. He was reckless.
They want to know why you were wearing a T-shirt, no powdered baby blue suit with ruffles.
Who,
I think
me
he
or
made
you?
his you.
No,
You
no,
said
it wasn't
T-shirt.
A T-shirt. Did I? It was a shirt.
Yeah, it was a
And it
dress
was a
shirt.
black shirt, a black dress shirt, dog, with the big white dribble. Like I was like my lip had a hole in it, dog. I'm like, come on, dog. What am I doing here, dog? Went in the bathroom, tried to do, toothpaste, dog. You ain't getting that out on the spot. It was bad. Had to button up tight. Nah, it wasn't a good look, dog. It wasn't a good look, dog. It was not a good look.
Oh man, you guys are fantastic.
Yeah, big shout out to the gang, man, in the chat. We'll see how things go, man. We got some more content coming this week. We might do a show tomorrow, but I think we're gonna push that one back a little bit. We're gonna be doing some season-ending awards for the NFC East, and I think it only makes sense to do that when it's over for all the teams in the NFC East.
I think you might be right too, because I started to think about it. I said, man, it's going to be Saturday. Sunday, Monday, 2 on Monday, Tuesday.
It
So
would have
we're
been
about-
Friday. Yeah, that would have been a lot.
So
But I love it, man. I
we
coming
love
here
it.
chopping
We
up
love
with
it.
y'all, man. It's amazing.
Trust me, it's gonna be a fun weekend. Let's just hope the Giants win and we can continue the fun a little bit. And
Guy
Dallas
said
lose.
Giants trading for D-Hop. I saw a lot of people kind of hating on that, actually. I saw Kid Blue hating on that. I saw Dan Schneider, who he was on Entertainers Channel the other night with Nick Foletto. Them dudes be killing it, bro. If you're not subscribed to them, I think they're called Big Blue Banter. Check them out.
Why would people be against trading for DeAndre Hopkins? Just because of the cost?
Contract and he's old. 30 years old, and the contract has been most people's excuse. For me, I think it was like 15 mil a year. I could be wrong. I think it was like 15, 16 mil for the last 2 years of his contract.
See, the thing is with that sort of situation, there's ways that, you can get Arizona to take on some of that contract, obviously. That'll help.
You know me, man. I don't know contracts well, bro. Like I don't count the pocket. So obviously it's not obviously to me. Straight up.
So, all right, let me ask you this. Quick little questions. Just throwing, back and forth really fast. Derek Carr, where does Derek Carr play quarterback next year? Right now, if you had to guess right now. Because the thing is apparently they have to get this trade done because his roster bonus kicks in, I think, after the day after the Super Bowl, and it's like $40 million. So I think they have to get the trade done by then.
Yeah.
But he also has a no trade clause.
He said goodbye to the Raiders fans today, though. He's out of there.
He's definitely out of there.
I like Fabian's answer on this. Jets, Washington, those are two good teams because there's got to be a team that's like semi-ready to compete right now that just needs quarterbacks. So I'd rule out Texans, Panthers, Colts might be an option.
I think I like the Colts. Colts could definitely
be an option.
What about Devontae Adams, though?
Where he goes, or what about him?
Because one of the main reasons why he came to Oakland was because of Carr.
Maybe if they're going rebuild, they'll trade him. I think, but it's done. Carr's done in
100%.
I'd go. Devontae is the guy that I think the Giants. You might want to take a look at him too. For the no to D Hop, you forgetting how good of a wide receiver D Hop is. I know he's been banged up, and he had the suspension to start this year, which make the injury look a little bit worse. I would take D Hop on this team 1,000% because here's the thing: they're not going to sign Daniel Jones to like no 5-year deal. They're not going to go all in like that. I would imagine them giving Daniel Jones like a 3-year deal.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
And even 4 would be a little sketchy for me, but I think they'll go like 3 years. And that means that your window to try to win a Super Bowl is now. Where are you going to get the number 1 wide receiver from in this draft? I don't think so. No. You're going to go out there and try to swing. There's a big chance you might miss. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be out for about at least a third of the season next year. So I think Richie James is a guy you're going to see back in this locker room along with Isaiah Hodgins. And I think you'll see Darius Slayton back on the Giants too. But you need to upgrade. You better bring in a number 1 wide receiver, like now. Like, you want Daniel Jones to win. The problem with, man, I went back and I looked at a bunch of my old tweets from like 2020 because that was when I got back on Twitter, was like the beginning of 2020. And I was looking at some of the tweets, and all I used to talk about back then was how Dave Gettleman did Daniel Jones so dirty. That's all I used to talk about. I used to keep saying, like, how are you going to just allow this wide receiver room to only have a 5th-round pick in Darius Slayton, bless you, love, and think that that's the only way that you're going to be able to bring in some talent here for Daniel Jones. And then you tried Golden Tate, and then they just did a Hail Mary. They were like, when you saw Mara in front of the cameras that offseason after that, where they were like, we've done the kid dirty and we got to bring in talent. Obviously, we're going to try to bring in some offensive talent. And then they just go out there and throw a Hail Mary and try to bring in Kenny Galladay with a terrible contract and draft Kadarius Toney, and none of it worked. So you can't do that hope thing in the draft again. I think it's Hopkins or Adams. If you're really trying to win,
it'll be interesting to see how much, if any, playoff run changes everything. So I see Gretz thanking you for the bless you. Big shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says with Hopkins, I'm not worried about the money as much as what I think the Cardinals will ask for him in return.
Yeah. I feel you. They're going to ask for a little something for sure. But you could always put off some of those draft picks. They don't all got to be in this draft. That's the thing. And when you look at the way that McVay built the Rams,
years out.
that would be kind of crucial. I'm thinking 2 years out. But if you look at the way that McVay built the Rams, they traded a lot of their first-round and second-round picks, but they were one of the most homegrown teams going into the 2021 season. They were one of 7 teams that had over a 60% homegrown roster. So this isn't just about first-round draft picks. That's what people fail to realize. They think that it's like most, and I'm not saying it's about lax. I'm just saying in general. They think it's like the first-round draft picks is what you got to trade away, and if you do, you're giving up like your franchise. You can do that, but you got to draft well in those later rounds. Rounds 3 through 7, you better bring in some guys. Linebacker is another issue for the New York Giants. We will be getting Darian Beavers back next year, who showed a lot of promise. And this kid, man, what's his name? Gerard Davis? That kid looks like he could be a piece moving forward. The way I saw, and I only saw one game, but he looks like if you get him accustomed to this system, he looks like he could be a guy, maybe go out there, spend a little bit of money. A lot of people have been talking about Edmonds at the linebacker position. But everybody knows it. Daniel Jones needs a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
He needs that. If you want to make Super Bowl runs and expect to win the Super Bowl, you got to go upgrade that interior offensive line, figure out something at linebacker, and bring in a number 1 wide receiver. So for me, D-Hop is most definitely an option.
Yeah, 100%.
And Devontae Adams, who to me is still the best wide receiver in the NFL. Oh my God, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, dog. You know, especially if you're bringing back Daniel Jones. If you're going to do something where you're trying to draft
money
a rookie,
in a quarterback, you might as well give him some weapons. It only makes sense.
And the thing with Daniel Jones is like, how are you going to? I know they pay people a lot more, and you know, like I said, man, the contracts is really not my thing, but I don't see them going out here paying Daniel Jones like $40 million. This dude threw 15 touchdowns this year. He has 36 touchdowns in 3 seasons through the air. How can you go out there and pay this guy something crazy? So it's got to be a reasonable contract, if you ask me, which should leave some money left over to make some moves. You know, so I'm going D-Hop. I'll go D-Hop and Odell. I don't care. Bring them both in, man. You need weapons. Why are we always complaining about Daniel Jones' weapons, and then when you want to try to bring in weapons, you're going to say no to D-Hop, Fabian? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Big shout out to ELA Vaughn 84 for the $4.99.
84 in the building.
Cent super chat says, "Sup to the legends. Been busy, but I had to come through to show love and salute Beard's team. Y'all smacked us. If we're going to run, it's because of y'all." Oh, no.
That wake-up smack.
Big shout-out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, "I'd rather give up multiple draft picks to trade for Ayuk. He is younger, and I think he would fit this offense better." I'm a big Ayuk guy.
I'm a big fan of Ayuk, but, you know, here's the thing that wouldn't surprise me about Ayuk. You bring him over here in this system, and he don't look like how he looked in that Shanahan system.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying he'll fall off. I'm just saying, like, you don't expect this guy to just – we're looking for a bona fide number 1.
He's not that yet.
I don't think he's that yet, but he's a great. Would I be like, would I take him on a team? 1,000%. I feel the same way about T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a guy that, you know, has not proven that he's a number 1 yet, but he could be that 1B.
Yeah.
Is that enough for the Giants? Is that enough? Is that enough for the Giants to say, hey, we're a Super Bowl contender offensively if we could get this interior offensive line piece? That's up for everybody to decide. For me, I think Daniel Jones, if you want him to look like a top 10, top 8, top 5 quarterback, you better go out there and get him 2 number 1s, because that's what the league is leaning towards right now. You need 1A, 1B.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. Whew. Game time. 2 days.
Barry says, what about we draft a wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr.? We could dream about that, but Marvin Harrison Jr. not going to be coming out this year. That's the only thing.
That's another year.
Yep. So
there's some people talking about, you know, Washington drafting a wide receiver. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Wow. I saw somebody today talking about Anthony Richardson.
I wouldn't be mad if y'all drafted him.
I like Michael Mayer though. If we're gonna go offense and we're not gonna go offensive line, I like Michael Mayer.
First round tight end. I wouldn't do it. No way.
I know you would.
Get the quarterback.
16.
Man. Get the quarterback, man. Y'all been lacking the quarterback. Fats hit me up on Instagram. He's like, he showed me some meme with Jacoby Brissett. He's like, I think we should bring this guy in. I'm like, dog, I love Jacoby Brissett. He's a nice dude, great character. He cannot keep running in the damn rat wheel, man.
Yeah, These
We haven't seen
retread
a franchise
quarterbacks are not
quarterback
it.
for
Yeah.
Washington since we've been alive.
Yeah. Thanks, Crypto Moose. Got it.
That's true. Definitely need to draft an owner. And Kai says Howell is the guy. I don't know. That one game, 11 for 19, 170. It's exactly what I predicted. I said 189. He put up 176.
He's the guy right now because he's going to be the only quarterback under contract come that time. But you got to fill that room with other quarterbacks.
I wonder if you keep Heineke around. I wonder if because you could have three quarterbacks.
It would be great because he's such a good backup quarterback. But now you're gonna have a new offensive coordinator. He's probably, the money is not gonna be, he could probably get the better money somewhere else for sure because they're not gonna pay him what.
I don't know, man. Who's gonna pay Heineke right now?
I don't know. That's a good question too. The other thing is do you want that hanging over your head?
What hanging over your head?
Heineke, the whole Heineke thing, man.
Yeah, man. It's that competition breeds success, man.
No, I agree with that, but it's just like if Heineke's here, there's always going to be that push for Heineke to be the guy.
A really good coach and a really good GM's not listening to no damn fans, bro.
Not even just the fans, but then it's just
from who then? If it's not from the fans, from who?
From the other people in the organization. It just splits the room too much.
All that matters is the GM and the head coach. Not even in that case, not even the GM, man. The offensive coordinator. You could add that to the mix, but that's it. Everybody else's opinion. Have a plan. Because what if you don't have a good backup quarterback? Even if you go with Sam Howell, I'd keep Heineke on the roster. What if you sneak and you win what if you're 5-3 or something like that with Sam Howell at starting the first 8 games, but he looks like dog shit. Then you got Heineke on the bench.
And we're doing the rat wheel again.
Yeah, but the only way to get out of the rat wheel is draft a quarterback or bring in a proven one.
Yeah.
So you either bring in Derek Carr, you allow Sam Howell to be the backup by any means necessary, or you draft a quarterback. If you draft a quarterback, though, I don't know if that's reasoning to just be like, Heineke, see you later, buddy.
What if he wants $20 million?
They were paying him like $2 million, man.
Exactly.
He's not going to – no one – you don't want me to entertain that, man. Nobody's paying
that's what I said.
$20 million. They're talking about Daniel Jones right now. Some people are saying $20 million is too much. You think somebody's gonna pay Heineke $20 million?
I don't think so personally, but I think that there are people out there based upon analytics and the market value. They're putting him at $19 million market value.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's stupid stuff.
I know, man.
We're not paying Heineke $20 million to be a backup, especially. Backups get backup money. Tyrod Taylor was one of the higher paid backup quarterbacks in the league. He was making $5 million. Yeah. The hell are we going to pay Taylor Heineke $20 million to sit the bench for?
No,
when they paid him what'd they pay him this year? $5 million for 2 years.
$2 million, $2.5 million.
Like 2 and some change. And they knew that he could possibly be the starter. Whoever told you that his value is 19 to 20 million is on white rocks. Straight up, bro. What are we talking about here? 20 million? Yo, if you pay Heineke $20 million, you deserve to be fired on site, bro. Soon as the ink touch and he go teak, fire. You're out of here, dog. What are we Taylor Heineke for $20 million. Yeah, he's going for 20. Fabian, you on them white rocks too, dog. What are we talking about here, man? $20 million for Taylor Heineke. Teddy Bridgewater, let me give you a good example. Teddy Bridgewater got $6 million in that deal when he went to the Miami Dolphins. He put up, as a starter for the Broncos the previous year, 18 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards, and 8 interceptions. What the hell are we talking about paying Heineke $20 million a year? He had incentives that could boost the contract to $10 million a year for Teddy Bridgewater. Who's a better quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater or Taylor Heineke?
Teddy Bridgewater, probably.
Yeah, and that's close. Even now after all the garbage he's been through in Miami, where he don't look nowhere near like the same quarterback. Come on, man. What are we talking about, man?
I think they're assuming that is if he signs to be a starter, it's going to be $19 million a year.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, apparently they are estimating a 3-year, $59 million deal. Bob Blissa says, why are we talking about Heineke during a playoff
When you just Google it, and this is from December 22nd of 2022, the first thing that comes up, it says Taylor Heineke's realistic market potential is probably around $5 million per year, with an upside to about 10. Probably based on incentives for playing time, wins, playoff games. Come on, dog. What are we doing? 20 minutes? What are we doing? Can't end the show like this. This is such a good show.
This is how we're gonna end the show.
My man
Tuto!
Tuto pulled up with that cape to save the day of his $20 million talking about Taylor Heineke. Good God.
For the $9.99 super chat, says AATB. Giants got great talents on the roster already. Great coordinators. Trainers are capable of developing stars from within the house and make them shine. Speaking of experience, living proof. Salute, Italy.
I like the tone, man. I like the tone. Big shout out to Tuto, man. This might be the last. This could be the last preview super chat from my man Tuto for the year. But I think the Giants are going to handle business. We're going to see y'all next Thursday for damn sure. For damn sure. And I see Bookend says QB average quarterback starting money is 30 to 35. Top quarterback money is 40 to 50. If Taylor Heineke gets $20 million next year, I will wear a Washington football. What are y'all, the football Commanders? I will wear a Taylor Heineke jersey for the first 4 episodes. If Taylor Heineke gets $20 million per year, and I'm not talking no incentive based, the cap. I'm talking about if he could get $20 million and he's the starter, I will wear a Washington football Commanders Taylor Heineke jersey. And I'll wear it backwards. I'll wear it backwards like crisscross so you can see the Heineke up front, like how RG3 had the DeMar Hamlin jersey on the other night. I will wear it like that. I can't believe y'all are allowing me to entertain this kind of talk today. Giants got a damn playoff game on Sunday. Real people said no. What is he doing?
Here you go.
Yeah, maybe, man. Taylor Heineke, Tyrod Taylor Heineke is on. Tyrod Taylor's on contract for another year as the backup, and the dead cap hit is not something nice if you just cut him. So I think you'd have to maybe find like a little trade partner for him, or something, which probably won't happen. I don't think we'll bring in Taylor Heineke back up.
Chris P says he's going to be in Arizona starting until Kyler Murray returns.
I mean, Colt McCoy is Taylor Heineke, the same quarterback.
I don't know, man. Colt might have to put the cowboy hat on and
call it a day.
Ride out.
It's about that time.
That's about that time.
It's about that time, Colt.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your service.
I'll never
Colt
forget
McCoy.
that game against the Seattle Seahawks, bro. I will never forget it.
Never forget that game against the Dallas Cowboys, Colt.
We all got a memory. We all got a memory. Shout out Lake Nona Sports in the building one time. Lake Nona, what you got on this game, man? It's Giants-Vikings game. Let me get a score before we get up out of here, man. Beard, it's been good, man.
It's been great, man.
Good. It's been good. You know, it feels good to have a – I'm a little out the frame. This happens in real life sometimes. People be missing their high fives, bro. Come on, guys. It's been good. It feels really good to be in the playoffs, man. This is one for y'all, now one for us. On Awthentik and the Beard, we have no playoff wins so far. So we'll see if the Giants can change that record. We're 0-1 right now.
Let's do it.
Tudo says 24-17, Giants win. Like that. Like that score. Like that. I'm glad you're on board, man. I got the Giants hat for you here. You know,
I'm good. Thanks, man.
LeVar Arrington jersey, anything? Do we got anything?
I
That's not that. We not. What is this? What are we, the Cleveland Browns? Dude, you better chill with that one. You better chill with that one. I still got that shirt. That thing is faded as hell in one of my laundry hampers. Not yours. Yours looks pretty good.
Nah, my joint fresh.
Yeah, your joint's fresh. I have like 4 Washington Wizards T-shirts, bro. Like
So
every time we went to a game, they gave out T-shirts. They're all extra large. Come on,
Yeah.
you know I need that large, bro.
Don't worry, these things shrink.
No, they're always like short and wide. You know, always short and wide. That's why I don't wear them. The one I have that's a large is that one, though. That particular shirt right there. Five Blizzard said 23-20. That's the Beard score, actually. Blue team. Kai said, see you next season, Beard. I thought it was going to be Awthentik, but it was you. I thought it was going to be me, too. I definitely thought. When we talked about that a couple weeks back, I was like, man, Washington got that upper hand right now. That tie, they snuck out. Now we got to go play them at home. I was a little worried. Giants took care of business, man. Big game against the Colts one time. It's been a good one, man. It's been a good one.
It hurts.
I bet it does.
I'm okay with it. All right.
Had to
Giants.
snap out of it.
Giants. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and
looking
Sunday.
like a 1 o'clock show.
Yeah, give or take. Maybe a little bit later. We'll see.
Sunday's going to be our normal parlay time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Big shout out to the gang, man. Let's get some biceps before we get up out of here. Once again, big shout out to the homie Patrick for holding us down with the Y8 Tittle jersey and Steven Archer being the victor of that. That's awesome. And, to start the playoffs on the right foot, the Beard, we're going to need a good left side.
Strong side.
I hope we get this victory, man. Any last words before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, just good luck and big shout out to everybody in the chat. As always, we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. We appreciate all the love, all the support. Make sure you guys are tapped in and that notification bell because we're going to be doing a lot of work over the next few days. So we are super excited about that. But thank you. Playoffs. Wish you guys the best of luck. Dallas Cowboys fans, too. I know I gave you guys a bunch of dead flowers, but good luck. I wish you guys the best. As fans and family members of Awthentik and the Beard.
Monique was a little bit salty about no roadmap for the Dallas Cowboys. She was like, they get a roadmap? I could hear her saying it right in my ear, like, they get a roadmap and we don't? What's going on here? I feel you on that 5 Blizzard 100, definitely, yo. Appreciate everybody pulling up tonight, man. Big salute to the gang, man. Let's go out here and get this win one time, man, and make it to the second round of the playoffs. I want some bird. I want some bird in the second round. I want a little bird. I'm ready for that, but we can't overlook the Minnesota Vikings. This is a big game. Hopefully we get some big dog vibes one time from my man Saquon Barkley. But y'all know what it is, man. Keep living those dreams. Keep raising that bar. The universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Big shout out to the podcast GOAT, Combat Jack. Y'all know what it is, man. We'll be here Saturday morning. Maybe some impromptu vibes on a late Friday night. I might do a Q&A late, maybe like a midnight stream. We'll see how that goes, man. But y'all already know we appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us throughout 18 weeks of the season. And now our first playoff preview for the New York Giants. So big congrats. Let me get some claps before we get off the air, Beard, one time. I need some claps one time. Congratulations to the chat one time. Congratulations to the New York Giants, man. We broke that streak of however many years since 2016 and not making the playoffs. So let's pray for a win. We'll see what happens here in Minnesota, man. Best of luck to the gang. Y'all know what it is, man. We couldn't do this without y'all, man. A lot of love for all of y'all in this chat that have been rocking with us and supporting us, man. Y'all be good. Make sure to catch us on Saturday. Keep your eyes out for any more content throughout the week, possibly tomorrow, man. We'll see y'all. Peace.